Alrighty, what's good, everyone joining up the stream? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing? We're getting the YouTube stream completely set up right here real quick. Do give it a second. Do give it a second. We're gonna get it completely set up. It's gonna be a shorter live today. I do plan to do a bit of a shorter live today, and tomorrow I do plan to be live later in the day as well. Just letting everyone know. Where did you go? I went to America Fest thing right outside of it. We didn't go inside or anything to debate Trump supporters, and I've got some clips. I actually posted one of them already, but I have a bunch of clips I'm gonna be posting for YouTube and on TikTok as well, from people that I debated while I was there. I went there with Dean, and we obviously didn't want to tell anyone where we're going or anything like that. Wanted to stay safe, and everything went okay. We got like harassed by Nazis though, like literally, like straight up after, like totally after everything we already debated, got straight up harassed by like these fucking Nazis. It was horrible. Like later in the day, but outside of that, the day went pretty well. We're going to start getting some people up here in a second. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed here on the TikTok screen. Thank you, everyone, from joining in from Dean's stream. Mouse Girl, thank you for the membership subscription. By the way, Blakely, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $35. Thank you so much. Jessica with the $10. Joy, thank you for the $2. I appreciate it. Rachel, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. And Marisol, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alrighty. We're going to go to the first person here for the debate for today. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed here on the TikTok screen, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm 19.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah, I do, bro. I voted for him.
Okay. What's your birth year?
I was born 2005, bro.
Okay. And you said you're 19?
Yeah, I'm 19.
What
I'm
month
about to
were you
have my
born?
birthday, bro. Literally 5 days. I'm having my birthday. I was born on Christmas, bro.
Okay. And if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
I'd still vote for Trump.
Okay. Why do you support Donald Trump?
All right. Well, I mean, I'm like right wing. Like I'm a conservative, so like I'm not progressive on a lot of these social issues. Like I like the transgender issue and abortion and a lot more of those. I think his economic policies, I haven't looked into as much. You know, like I'm young. I did kind of vote more on social issues, but I know a lot of what he's been doing lately has been kind of screwing over like our population. You know, I don't really like a lot of what he's been doing kind of lately over the last couple of months. But on social issues, on social issues like abortion and things like that, like I'm conservative. You know, like I value like the like traditional family values, things like that. You know, like what our country was built on. So, yeah, man.
Okay. Do you think Donald Trump is upholding traditional family values himself?
Yeah, I'd say so.
He cheated on every
I mean,
single
we
one
can
of his
say
wives.
this
Is
is
that
pretty.
a traditional family value?
What did he do?
He cheated on every single one of his wives that he's had. Is that a family value, a traditional family value?
Well, the guy's character himself, like I don't know, he has a questionable character, of course, but like he's he's conservative, like he's gonna be putting more like family first, things like that, you know.
Okay. Could you give
So it
me
doesn't
an
really matter what he's
example?
done himself. Um, well, like I said, I haven't looked into his economic policies as much. Like
I didn't ask you
I'm a
for that. I asked
Republican.
you like
Yeah.
what traditional family values that he upholds and how he upholds them.
We can say Merry Christmas again. You know, we can say
Both sides
we
said
can like
that.
embrace our traditions more.
What traditions?
Well, I mean that's like you can be proud to be white. You know what I mean? You don't need to
Oh,
like
oh.
be feel like a like
What
feel
do you
like
mean
you're
by
the oppressor
proud to
because you're
be
white.
white?
You can be proud to be white, like you can be proud of your culture, of your European
White,
culture.
being white is not your culture.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's
Yeah, it
not.
is, man.
Not a relevant part of
Well,
the culture that you should care about. Wait, tell me what aspects of our culture you like, American culture. What are aspects of our culture you like?
of course, families, families, uh, like church, the church, being able to, like, go into like your son's little league game, baseball, like things like that, man. I like where I grew up, it's like I like, like baseball, things like that, it's
Anything
just
else?
that's um well, like I can't think of a lot of examples, but just our way of life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like what
That's
else?
uh companies, like businesses, free markets, just being like the freedom, like gun rights, um like our like the Constitution, like our forefathers. You know what I'm saying? And I think you should be proud of that.
Okay,
And you
let me
shouldn't
ask
be
you this question here real
feel like
quick.
you're the oppressor.
What
Yeah.
about this has to do with you being white?
Um, Everything, like
Really?
the
Are
culture
you
itself.
Christian?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Yeah, is Jesus white?
He would have likely had olive brown skin
Okay,
if he was
so your Lord and Savior, who you just said that you should base your religion off of, your values, and you should go to church. That's an aspect of quote unquote white culture, is in worship of someone who's not white.
um well, I guess so, but I don't really think
Oh,
that
okay.
has like I don't think that
So again, nothing about what
he
you
has to be.
said had to maintain the country to be white. One, two, you literally worship someone who is not white, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you worship someone who's not white, what is your obsession with the culture of our country staying white? If you had all of those particular
Mm,
attributes that you just mentioned, but the country was not white, would you have an issue with that?
yes.
You really? Why? Because it doesn't seem like it's any of the
Because,
aspects of the culture that you cared about there. It sounds like it's just skin color.
well, I mean, it's more about like our like I mean, okay, no, okay.
Yeah, like, do you want
I'm
to give
sorry,
an actual
I might have
response?
come up there.
Because right
Can
there, you
I
just said
look?
all you cared about the skin color, and it's not the culture. So when you hide behind this like idea or mask of saying, "Oh, it's specifically this particular type of culture in America that we care about," well, American culture isn't just for white people. You understand that there's American culture, right, that has nothing to do with white people. Like for example, Black
Yeah,
Americans, do they have culture?
of course, yeah.
Is that a part of American culture?
Yeah.
So the idea of American culture specifically being white is obviously an absurd, insane, ridiculous idea, right? That only right is meant to harm people that don't meet that particular set of criteria of quote unquote being white. It's not about the culture. It's not about the families, the church, the little league games, the companies, the businesses, the freedoms, the gun rights, the Constitution. It's about skin color to you. And if you did actually care about the Constitution, well, you wouldn't support Trump, who called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, has violated multiple constitutionally protected rights, is literally
Yeah.
violating the law right now and literally not giving out all of the Epstein files.
Well, look, Parker, do you feel like you're an oppressor, like with the movement you're a part of? Do you think as a white man, you're like an oppressor because you're a white man?
I don't think that as a person myself, I'm oppressing people, but I think that system that we have in our society does oppress marginalized communities, right? And oftentimes, right, specifically white men, right, in these particular positions will have a privilege from that system where they won't be disenfranchised by said system. So I'm not
Okay.
necessarily saying like me myself, I'm engaging in like oppressing people, but I am saying that like we live in a society that I'm not disenfranchised based upon the fact that I'm white. I'm not disenfranchised on the fact that I'm a man. Those are privileges that I have in in this society.
Well, anyway, look, I came up here to ask you about something, Parker. It's like something
You
that's
don't want to
happened
respond to any of the
recently.
points I just made?
Well, look, you're making good points, man. I mean, that's like I can't think of an argument right now, no. But since Charlie Kirk got killed a few months ago, and we're seeing things like you were at America Fest, this was it this weekend and you were being harassed by, like you said, a group of Nazis, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, this was after MFest,
All right.
and I didn't even go
Well, yeah,
inside. I was just outside, like on like just talking to Trump supporters going in.
yeah. Can you agree that like since Charlie, like I don't know if you and Dean have been like I've seen clips you guys joking about. Well, at least I don't know about you, but I've seen Dean joking about it, saying we are Charlie Kirk, lol. Like Do you
Yeah,
think
that's
that
making fun of
since he
people who are
died?
idolizing him to a degree where they say that they are Charlie Kirk, right? That's not making fun of
Yeah. Well,
Charlie
I
Kirk
mean,
dying.
well, the guy's dead anyway. So
Yeah,
you're
they're
making
not
fun of him
making fun of
regardless.
Charlie Kirk. They're making fun of the person that is saying that they are Charlie Kirk.
Well, don't you think it's kind of messed up making light of, like the guy that's just died like 2 months
I
ago,
mean,
3 months
do you
ago?
care about Donald Trump literally saying that Rob Reiner died because of TDS?
Um, oh, okay. Well, yeah, I did hear
Oh,
about that.
you
So,
don't?
yeah. No, okay, that's messed up. If he said something about that,
He did do
that's messed
that.
up.
He also called for the execution of some Democrats because they said to follow the law and to not follow unlawful orders. He retweeted someone saying HANG them, George Washington would. And by the way, just recently deleted the fucking tweet. He
Yeah.
kept up the other ones talking for it, saying seditious behavior is punishable by death, and the other one, but he literally deleted that one. He probably heard from someone to delete it. I've seen personally it on his Twitter. I mean, on his Truth
Yeah,
Social.
he was
Sorry,
getting a lot of
Truth the Galaxy.
backlash. He was getting a lot of backlash about that, I heard. But what the point I'm kind of making is, like, I feel like since Charlie Kirk got killed, we've been seeing a lot more far right, like people like Nick Fuentes, political commentators come up, like especially with the youth, like younger men, like us. Like he's become so much more popular since Charlie Kirk got killed, and I'm starting to kind of say like maybe even for you guys, it ended up being a really bad thing that Charlie Kirk got killed because he was like now we're seeing he was kind of really moderate, and like a fair guy, like he was
I
really
don't know if he
reasonable.
was necessarily
Because people like
considerably
Nick Fuentes.
moderate, but I think that the right wing is fractured right now. If
Yeah,
anything, he
and
was
I'm even
holding up
replacing
a
that.
base of the conservative movement, and that doesn't exist anymore. Now it's in free fall, and there's a
Do
bunch of
you think those
infighting. So
people?
if anything, it was worse for you guys. But I don't know if you'd want to make that argument. I don't think that you should even look at it from that perspective. It was horrific what happened. You don't want murder like that to happen in our society. That's obviously fucked
Of
up,
course,
right?
of course. But like I'm just asking if you're
But that
starting to
doesn't
kind of
like
see
make, from
maybe
my
it was.
perspective, like Charlie like a good person or anything, or mean that he was like upholding a good movement, right? We can still acknowledge that we disagree with perspectives while simultaneously acknowledging that.
Yeah, well, he was a really polite guy. Like you look at his videos, you
No, he
look back at his
wasn't.
videos now, like he was
Dude,
super
he
polite.
called me
Everyone coming up, he
deranged.
was so respectful. Well, I don't know, man, but well,
So are you
what
gonna
from what
justify
I've
that?
seen, he
That
was
was that's polite to
polite and
you?
respectful.
I don't think he was very polite to
Well,
women. I don't think he was polite to trans people. I don't think he was polite
he was
in plenty
so
of circumstances. I don't think he was
Charlie
polite to
was
people
so
who are
pro
black.
woman. He
What?
was like so pro woman. Like he's like got videos talking
Yeah,
about
so he
how
was
like
telling
70%
Taylor
of his
Swift to
staff is
submit
women.
to her husband.
He was talking
What does
about
that
like
mean?
his staff being women. Like he's so respectful to his wife. Like he's like super pro wife.
Wait,
Like
wait,
all
wait. I
these
have a question. I have a
like
question. Do you think women should submit to men?
um like I feel like there's a complex with like a husband and a wife kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and I'm
There's like a
asking you a
complex
question.
there.
Do you think that the women should submit to the men?
No, they shouldn't submit. Like
Oh,
if
well,
you put
that's
it
what
like that,
Charlie
that's
Kirk
kind
said. So you
of
disagree with Charlie Kirk saying that women should submit to men in marriage, and but not the other way around, right?
what. Well, I mean, like there is a level of power that like the man has in the relationship. Like not like to controlling the wife, but like just in the relationship in general. Like the man, like the husband, usually has the income and is like the man of the house. Things like that.
Having the income
So
doesn't mean you have any more say over like the relationship.
yeah. Well,
So when women
it's
have
just
more wait, so when
the
women
man
have more
can.
income than men, they have more say over the relationship?
Well, like we can't act like women and men are the same. They're not
Can
the
you answer the
exact same. Like
question?
there's a
When
distinction.
women make more than men, like in a particular relationship, does that mean that the woman, right, gets more control in the relationship?
No.
No? Okay. So it's
Yeah.
not about how much money you're making. So what is it? Tell me.
There's an inherent thing there of like men and women. There's a difference between men and women. And
Yeah.
there's gonna be like men are obviously more dominant naturally. Men are naturally more
What do you mean by
polygamous than
more
women.
dominant?
Like more like masculine and like brazen than women. They're not as
So
like.
men are more masculine. When you say masculine, you just mean like
Well, I
things
mean,
men
obviously,
do.
sorry. Well, like in the nature of masculinity is like confidence and strength, and leadership, and
Well,
there's
but
there's
you're only
there's
looking at positive traits, not negative traits. There are plenty of negative traits you could associate with masculinity as well, overexpressions of masculinity, right? There, and also, by the way, you know that women do that as well. If anything, you know that we can point to circumstances where women are in these positions of leadership, they do better. Whether it be
Yeah, I don't know.
CEOs, whether it be surgeons, whether it be in countless different fields, women on average have a higher IQ than men.
I heard the opposite. I heard on average men have 6 IQ points higher than women.
Well, if you care about IQ, I don't necessarily think IQ is the greatest measure always, but if you care about IQ, which typically people who run this argument do, right, then you would have to acknowledge that women have a higher average IQ than men. Like on average.
Yeah. I thought I saw a study once and it was like in certain fields, like depending on how you measure the IQ, men have like typically 6 IQ points higher than women, but maybe I'm
Where'd you
getting
find
something
that?
around there. Well, I searched it up once like a year ago. That's what I came up with, but I don't know, maybe that was a source that you wouldn't find valid or uh, but yeah,
Okay.
what I'm kind of trying to say is, I think Charlie Kirk being killed is definitely a net negative for the left, like in general, because he was really like, now we're seeing Nick Fuentes. Like, I think Nick Fuentes is a terrible guy, bro. I think he's like a Nazi, man. All this like things he says about Israel, and like it's that this guy is I've seen him like talking that Hitler was cool. The Piers
Yeah,
Morgan interview,
it's
and that
yeah,
guy has so much of
that's obviously like he's obviously anti-Semitic, right? And
yeah.
like what's your point with this? Is that you don't want the party to be more
Well,
like that?
Charlie Kirk was like family values, and he was just like a regular American guy. He was just an American dude, and like the left didn't like him because he's so progressive, 2020, non-binary, and all these crazy things. It's
Don't,
like
dude,
that
I
guy was
literally just
just.
gave you explanations for he definitely was not just some normal dude.
What do you think about non-binaryism, man? Because that's a very new thing. What do you think of that?
Non-binaryism. I think people who are non-binary have legitimate identities.
Well,
There's
don't you think
nothing
it gets
wrong
to a
with
point
being
where it's like,
non-binary.
well, don't you think it can get to a point where it's just a mental illness? Like if someone thinks
No,
that they're a
wait, you think being
basketball or
non-binary is a mental illness?
well,
Can you tell me where in
obviously
the
you have a
DSM
gender.
being non-binary is listed?
Well, I mean, obviously you have a gender, right? Like there's men and women. Obviously you're a man or a woman or a girl or a boy.
I
Like
think
there's
someone can
no.
be non-binary. What's wrong with that?
Well, it's like you're just like denying reality.
No,
Like
they're
you're
not.
a girl
No,
and
they're
you're
not.
saying
They
that you're not
acknowledge their
binary.
biological sex. They just say that their gender specifically is not reflective of being a man or a woman.
Okay, and
First, need your
we're
shower.
supposed
Thank you
to
so
as
much.
a society, we're
What's up?
supposed to accept that as a society.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's wrong with that?
Well, like it can get to a point where it's like, like oh yeah, I feel like today like I'm a leper, I'm a
What?
chimpanzee. Like, are
What?
you guys gonna
No,
call
that has
me a
nothing to do with those. Okay. So being a leopard
well,
or being a chimpanzee would specifically be like a biological set of criteria, as of what we're referencing in terms of animals. When we're referencing gender in this context, we're referencing people's commitments towards certain social and cultural norms that are typically associated with a sex as a prescription of identity. We're not talking about specifically just biological sex. If you want to talk about denying science, well, then how do you feel about Donald Trump saying that the climate's going to start cooling? Science just doesn't know it yet. How do you feel about him saying that windmills were causing whales to die in numbers never seen before, and that what's it called? We should look into disinfectant by injection to fight COVID-19.
well, look, Parker, let's stay on the topic of conversation right here, but
That was
about
directly
Trump.
like that's him denying science.
Well, but I mean, like, it gets to a point where, like, yeah, you can say, what if someone doesn't identify, like, societally with being a human? Well, what would you say about that? Like, they don't feel
Well, I think that what we're
societally
saying in
equal.
terms of human is a biological term. Now, if you run a
Yeah,
reference like are using human in a non-biological sense, I don't think anyone typically
yeah,
uses it
like
that way.
as
Now,
a
think about it this
society, I
way.
mean, we're
Think
all
about it
human.
this way. You have a name, right?
Yep.
Can I biologically determine that your name is your name?
No.
Can you choose and change your name?
Yeah, 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 you
Does that
can.
mean it's an invalid identity?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, well, you could also say that about a lot of things. Like, you can choose and change. Like, that's
Yeah,
just because
and
you're
wait,
saying
and just because you can change your name doesn't mean you can that every other social construct operates the same way, right? Doesn't mean that you can just
Uh,
call yourself whatever name you want to. Like, it doesn't mean that when you are saying that by name, your name is Squirrel, that you actually are legitimately a squirrel, right?
that's a separate thing, man. Like that's not what I'm even talking about.
Like when someone, their name is Daisy, that doesn't mean they're literally a daisy. Okay.
Obviously, bro.
Okay. So do you understand my point? Right?
Um, yeah. Well, I think we're talking about something else. Like you're talking about
It's a
people's
social
names.
construct. It's an identity and it's a
Like,
prescription for how we refer to each other.
true, but at the same time, like other things could be considered a society, like a social construct that like you can't just change or like be like what is so do you think a man can become do you think a biological man can become a biological female?
No, I don't think someone can go from being biologically a male to female.
All right, okay, well that's like the extreme left. And then do you think a
I don't
man can
think
become
anyone. I've never met someone that
no, I've
believes
seen
that.
lives. I've seen lives saying that
So
trans women
let
are
me let you
biological
know.
females.
Yeah. So let me let you know. Wait, biologically female? Are they talking from a neuroscientific perspective? Because there are neuroscience papers that indicate that like trans women and trans men have brain scans that typically align with or align more towards their gender identity than their like
Well,
what is typically
not
associated with like cis individuals that have the same biological sex as
neurologically.
them.
Neurologically, you can be insane. Like you can align with anything, and that doesn't mean biologically that you are that thing. So,
Again, no one's
you know, that
claiming
wouldn't
that
be
their
very
biology
biological.
changed here. We're not making that claim.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
wait. But again, what does that have to do with being non-binary? Do you think non-binary
Well, like
individuals deny their
non-binary.
biological sex?
Um, I feel like you can't change your societal sex. You know, you can't like you just if you're a man
So
like
I
you
have a
can't just
question.
say you're a woman.
I have a question. Do you think that do you think non-binary individuals are denying their biological sex?
No, they're not denying their biological. Well, I mean,
Okay,
some of
so
them
then
are,
what?
but
So then
like
what's your issue?
probably. Well, I think some of them are probably, and also,
Do you have
if
pronouns?
you're, um,
What are your
I
pronouns?
don't ride that 2020 bus, man. I
You
say
you,
we say goodbye
you
to the
don't have
L word, you know,
pronouns?
man. Yeah, I have pronouns, bro.
Okay, so you do have pronouns. So you do ride the 2020 bus or something, whatever you were trying to say. So what are your pronouns?
My pronouns are there's Z slash zero, man. There's Z slash zero. So you gotta refer to me as Z slash zero.
Genuinely,
How's
what are
that?
your pronouns? I know that you don't have neo pronouns. Tell me, what are your pronouns?
He, him. I'm a
Okay.
man, bro.
So you do have pronouns, but you were trying to deny that earlier because you thought it was like too woke to acknowledge that you had pronouns. But then you
Well,
realized you were about to get dunked on because just acknowledging that you have pronouns is just like, basic normal shit in English, and it's not
the
like
whole
woke.
pronoun, like the whole pronoun ideology is just like
Pronoun ideology. I mean,
super.
having everyone has pronouns, right?
Yeah, well, there's a difference between what you refer to people as, like she, her, and like saying that you can't change your pronouns. Yeah, I have pronouns, but like you can't change your pronouns. You know, that's just like what I am. If I'm a man, I'm a male. Like my pronouns are he, him. I can't change that. And if I want to be called that, like I'm not gonna make other people. I want to be called something else. I'm not gonna make people do that. You know, like because that's
Can you
just
change your name?
yeah. You can change your name.
Okay.
But that's different because that's not like your name is like it can be anything, but your sex, like your gender, is another thing. Like that's just if you're a man or a woman, you know.
Okay. So again, do you understand the difference between gender and sex, or do I have to explain it to you again?
Yeah, okay. There's but that's also a part of the 2020 thing. Like
A part of the 2020 thing. What do you mean? Donald Trump denying the 2020 election results? Do you believe the 2020 election was stolen?
no, I just think 2020 is the most woke year, and also there's a
Yeah.
lot
Can you
of
define
things in the
woke?
2020 election. Like extremely radical left is I
Could you
think
be
what it's used for.
specific? What is extremely radical left?
Like you know, transgenderism. Pretty much your whole thing, pretty much you and Dean's whole thing is
Can you
well,
just be
not that you're not
specific? And
radical
also
left,
trans
you're
people,
left.
just trans people existing?
Well, I don't think trans people like what I'm trying to argue. I don't think trans people like if you're a man, you can't become a woman. like that's
That's
just
not the
like
claim. We're
reality.
just saying that trans women are women and trans men are men. Now, again, trans people's existence, how is that extremely radical left?
No, I'm sorry because I was saying there, man. I'm sure you heard me. You guys aren't radical left. You guys are just like regular left leaning in America. But Parker, let me ask you, don't you like feel any like connection to your roots and like because I mean you're obviously like you're a white American. Don't you feel
Oh,
any
that's so
connection to
cringe.
like your
No, I don't know
forefathers?
why you attribute my roots to just being white. That's really weird, dude.
Well,
What do you have to
like
attribute with you
you
being
come
white?
from
Like lack of seasoning on food to be happy about? Like what specifically? What do you want like a cookie for
it's
being
not just
white?
about food.
Do
I
you want
mean
a
like
cookie? You want a
history,
cookie for being white?
like the Civil War, man.
Dude,
I'm
he
talking
wants
about being on the
recognition for
right side.
being white. Oh my gosh, you're so great because of it. Is that what you want to hear? You want us to get our hands on knees and be like,
Yo,
"Oh my
look,
gosh. Oh my gosh."
this is what you and Dean do. You guys go to childish games. Like that's not what I'm playing here, man. I'm
I
trying to
think
have
it's
a conversation.
childish for you to care about me being white as a basis for any of this. I think that's incredibly childish. Why don't you look at your own behavior as childish for once?
What do you mean? That's what you are. It's not like childish to say that you're white. Like yeah, you're white. I'm white. You know, there's
No,
like
no, it's
I'm a
childish to say that that's like a
generation
basis for
older.
like culture that you should care about, right? In terms of like quote unquote preserving. Like the idea that you brought up earlier, it sounds like you're arguing for an ethno state. Do you want 50% of the country plus to be white?
I don't think that's a bad thing. Like
Oh,
I wouldn't be against
okay.
that. I'm pro like my own like my values and
So
my
if the
traditions.
country
Like my
became majority non-white, would you be okay with that?
if it became majority like Muslim or you know like
Wait, Muslim is not a
anything like that, then
race.
I would have a
You know there are white Muslims, right?
but yeah, but
Okay,
it's
so can
tied
you
with
tell me, answer this question. If the country became majority non-white, would you be okay with that?
probably not
This is
because
what
this
I mean,
country was
dude. Like,
built
you care
off
about
of white
someone's
people.
skin
This
color.
country
You
like
care about being white, dude. That's so cringe. It's nothing to do with characteristics, nothing to do with culture. It's nothing to do with anything legitimate. It's literally just you care about people's skin color. You're weird, bro.
no man, I'm not racist, bro. I'm not a racist. I
I mean,
just
it sounds like a racist view to be totally honest, because advocating for an ethno state, right? Keeping the country over 50% white is absolutely, right, going to be a racist take. Because you're claiming it's
okay.
preferable to have white people in the country than non-white
All
individuals.
I'm saying is being white is typically associated with like you know like traditional like the culture itself. The culture itself is
So if it was
associated with
okay, but I
you know
asked
like
you, I asked you what this culture is that you like, and I asked you if all of these characteristics were true, but the country were majority not white, would you still have an issue with it? And you said yes, because what you care about is skin color. You don't care about any of these aspects of the culture. You're just trying to hide behind the mask, hide behind these as reasons when you don't actually give a shit about that, and all it is that you just have racist opinions.
no man, look, I just want a country where I can say Merry Christmas. Like I want a country
Dude, that has
where it's
nothing to
not
do with you being white.
taboo.
You know there are countries around the world where they say Merry Christmas and they are majority non-white? You know that we could still
Yeah, well,
say Merry Christmas and be majority non-white? Did you know that?
all
Would you
right.
be
Well, you
okay?
know,
Would
as
you be
long as
okay with the
majority
country
is
being in a
white.
manner in which we say Merry Christmas but we're majority non-white? Would you be okay with that?
Yes, that I would be okay with that as long as we're majority. Like I just
At
want a
least we
majority
changed your
Christian.
mind on that because you did not come into this
Yeah.
conversation with that opinion. You 5
Well,
minutes
it's
ago you
just
weren't with that opinion.
what I was trying to say. Like you debunked me, but what like that's all I was trying to say was that it's like being white is typically connected with you know my cultural values, my but that's you know of course yeah. If people were non-white and they were Christians, like that would be okay. You know.
Yeah, there's
Um.
so many countries around the world where there's high levels of Christianity, actually higher than here in the United States, and they are majority not white.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Okay, so then you're
But
okay
also at the same
with
time,
Christians from any country, right, coming to our country, right?
yeah. Especially to seek refuge. All these people in all these Christians getting killed in like well, what's the African country? All these African Christians. It's there's like a slaughter going on.
Well, so you believe in the asylum process? Do you think they should have to stay in Mexico while they try to seek asylum in our country?
Yeah, because if not, like that's for a reason. Our country would be overloaded, man, if we didn't, if people didn't have to seek
So you don't
asylum.
think
But
people
yeah,
with
I
valid
definitely live in
asylum claims should be able to stay in the country?
like if they came here, well, oh if they came here and then they're saying they can't go back because there's like gangs, well, that's just like we have gangs here too. You know, like that can't be our main priority.
No,
You
but
know what I
you
mean?
have
Like
to
we
you have
have
to
to
it
put
has to be
America
based upon a
first.
certain protected class.
Yeah.
Lexi, thank you so
Wait,
much for the
what did you
galaxy.
say?
Yeah, for asylum, it's that you have to be persecuted on a certain protected class.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like I feel like if we've got Mexican gang members over here and they're saying that they can't go back because you know the gang's gonna kill them. Like if they go back home, like
I don't
we
know why you're
have.
assuming people coming from Mexico are gang members. Did you know that undocumented immigrants coming to the country in general, which, by the way, most of which are not Mexican, by the way, just to clarify, they are at a lower likelihood of committing violent crime, drug crime, and property crime in the country comparative to natural-born U.S. citizens, by multiple times lower rates,
Well,
by the way.
the reason I assume they might be a part of a gang coming from Mexico is because they have the cartel and they're like Mexico's ran by gangs. Mexico is like owned by gangs. Like,
But that's absurd to say because there are gangs within Mexico that have a lot of power. That means that you assume someone coming from Mexico is from a gang. Do you understand that
well,
that's a ridiculous thing to say?
they obviously have a higher likelihood of being part of a gang if the country's run by gangs.
I just want to let you
Yes
know,
or no?
people coming from Mexico who are undocumented have a lower likelihood of committing violent crime, drug crime, and property crime in the country comparative to natural-born U.S. citizens. Did you know that?
Well, I didn't know that, but
That's
that's
true.
surprising because
It's
didn't
surprising
you hear
because
about that?
you've bought the propaganda that it's been demonizing people from other countries, including Mexico, right, and then coming here because they're doing
Well,
it for
didn't you hear
political
about?
gain. They're doing it for division, and you're buying right into that division. And you want to know why they use this? They use this because it
What?
allows for themselves to distract away from other issues, whether it be not releasing the Epstein files, whether that be the destructive and evil economic policy of the Trump administration, actively going after people's access to food stamps and Medicaid. They use this as a
Well, they did
distraction
it.
mechanism, and it works for a lot of people because their hatefulness and bigotry, right, blinds them from thinking critically.
Didn't they just drop the Epstein files? Like, you
They
guys
were
can stop complaining
incredibly
about it.
redacted. You should look at them. They're incredibly redacted, and they didn't drop all of them. Did you look at them at all?
Well, no, I didn't look at them, but I heard everyone
Well,
talking about, yeah,
yeah,
they just
you
dropped the
can't
Epstein
even
files.
read them. They're so redacted. Hello?
Sorry. Well, I mean, yeah, if that's the case, they're definitely they gotta. Well, what do you mean? Like they can't just redact it and then release it? Like they haven't
Yeah,
released it
you
if
haven't
it's
looked at it
redacted.
then. Oh, yeah, if it's still redacted, they haven't released it yet. You just answered the question. You just answered that point yourself. So why are they not releasing it when the law legally mandated them to release it? They didn't release all of
Well,
them
how can they
today,
get a?
and they redacted the
My
ones in
question
which they
is,
did. Like so much that you can't even fucking understand what it's going and talking about.
well, my question is, if they're redacting it, then like how is it even like how do they get away with that as releasing it if
They
it's just
shouldn't. They
redacted?
think that they're above the law.
All right, well, I don't know how that's because they might as well not be releasing it, but I mean that's
Well, who's going to hold them
well if that's the
accountable? That's my point. This is the issue that I talked about before, even before this was dropped. Yes, I was even talking about this yesterday. Like literally, who's there to hold them accountable? Is it going to be people they put in the court system? Is it going to be the own administration that he's been looking for loyalists and getting rid of the independent aspects of our federal government? Who the hell is going to hold them accountable? That's the issue
well
we have right
look
now. That's the constitutional crisis we're in.
Parker, what do you think of this? What do you think is a bigger issue, a bigger threat right now? The Trump administration or the rising popularity among young men of Nick Fuentes? What do you think is a bigger issue right now? Like what do you think is like the worst outcome if we keep like the Republican Party in power, like Trump, the Trump administration, or if we have like this generation of like young men supporting
I
Nick
think both
Fuentes?
of them are an incredibly big issue. I think that
Yeah.
Trump supporters obviously they have more power within the government, so
But like
obviously
what do you
they're a
think the
greater threat as of right now. But I do think that
okay.
if you talk about like Nick Fuentes and Gropers, they're growing in popularity amongst people who are idiots and socially isolated because of the fact that they're buying into this quote unquote edgy culture. It's unhealthy. It is unhealthy. And
It
they're
is.
relying on that to socially isolate men to try to sell them hatefulness and bigotry in order to try to get them to then justify their own belief system, right? Rather than specifically go and look and talk to other people to change their views on things. They are relying
Okay,
on
well,
social isolation to create men who are more hateful.
Well, what's your plan with all these? Because I've noticed, obviously there isn't so many young men supporting Parker and Dean that there are, like Nick Fuentes. So what are you guys trying to do to go out
I'm
and
sorry,
like
I think that's
appeal
absurd
to
for you to
these?
say that. How are you going to make that determination? Do you know how much people come up and recognize us and come up and see us and talk to us, and what percent of them are men?
I can confidently say a lot. Like Nick Fuentes is a lot more popular than you and Dean right now.
I don't know if you could say that about Dean. I think Dean is definitely more mainstream.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's over the last few weeks he's been on so many shows. He's gaining such an audience right now. And
Like
also, I
I
wanted
would
to ask
agree
you.
that Nick Fuentes gets more has more like followers and stuff than me, but definitely not Dean.
Yeah. Well, are you guys planning on like because he's growing in popularity so much? Are you guys gonna try and debate him, or are you guys
Dean's
are you
already
guys talking
debated
about
him.
him? Or
Yeah, when you have a
oh yeah,
certain
I
level of
saw that.
popularity, I think it's important to respond to and debunk these particular arguments. I think Dean already has. And maybe there
Yeah.
might be a
Well, that was
point to
years
do it
ago.
again because there's a bit of a fact that like he's become larger since the last time they've done it. But I mean, Dean dog walked him the first time, and he would dog walk
I
him
watched that.
again.
I watched the live stream, man. That 18 rounds live. I don't think Dean dog walked him at all.
Can
If
you name
anything, I
one point
think
he lost on?
they were talking about homosexuality. That was
Yeah,
that was
what
one
about
of them.
it?
They're talking about homosexuality
Push the galaxy.
being being like terrible for your body. Like it's just
How is it
it's
terrible for your
bad because
body?
it's not good for you. Like I don't know if I'm allowed to say up here because it's very graphic, but like anal sex, like that's not good for your body, obviously.
Do you think that? Do you think it's
So
bad?
that's
Well, I have a question. Do you think it's bad for your body to engage in lesbian sex?
I don't even know what that is. That's
Oh,
like
wait.
that
Actually, let me ask you this: how is anal sex bad for your body?
because that's not what that hole is meant for. Like it causes damage if you put things up that hole. Like it's not your butthole is meant for one
Can I
thing.
ask you a question?
Pooing.
Is
Yeah.
it? Do you think oral sex is wrong?
No, because it doesn't
No.
damage
Do you
like
think? Do you think
the
that was meant for your mouth?
obviously not, but like it
Okay,
doesn't
so then why
damage.
are
It
you
doesn't
only
cause
saying it for one scenario and not the other one? What's wrong?
well,
And
there's
you know
gay
that
men that have to
straight
wear
individuals
diapers.
can also engage in anal sex, right?
Yeah, which is gross. But
Uh,
there's gay men
okay,
that have
well,
to
I
wear
mean, you
diapers.
might not be.
Like,
I mean, obviously, like you have your right to not be into it. That's the same thing is true for me. Like, it's not something I'm into. But the point I'm saying is that, like, why are you then saying it's like wrong for other people to do so or to be into that? Right? Like, that's absurd. Like,
because
would you say that to women who find men attractive? Like, you don't find men attractive, and because you don't have that attraction, that doesn't mean that
that's
you
not
would
what we're
put
even
them
talking
down
about.
or something like that for the fact that they specifically find men attractive.
We're talking about if anal sex is damaging to the body. That's kind of the root
Well,
of
I
what
don't
we're
think I
talking
don't.
about.
Well, you gave no argument for it being damaging.
Well, there's gay men that have to wear diapers after being gay. I mean, that's how AIDS started, right? It was gay men in the 80s like having
Do you think
anal sex, like
pregnancy
you.
is terrible for your body? Birth is terrible for your body?
Yeah, probably, but it's a natural process, man. Like that's how human beings are born, bro. Like
And by the
it's
way, the only
separate.
men who are wearing diapers are men like Donald Trump, who shard himself on public stage during debates. So if you want to talk
See,
about
man, you're
men
funny,
wearing
bro.
diapers, how about we talk about Donald Trump sharding himself in public and wearing a diaper? Diaper Dodd, Diaper Dodd. Look at that, Diaper Dodd. And also, how do you feel
Well,
about Trump and Bubba?
I think I heard you talking about that to one guy. I don't think that was like his own free will. If it's not illegal, if it's not illegal, obviously that's like a terrible thing. That's gross. But if he didn't like do anything illegal, like I don't think that's we should be
Yeah,
like
so
persecuting him for that.
you don't have anything wrong with gay oral sex?
Yeah, I do.
You do? So then,
But
if Trump did engage in that, you would have an issue with it.
yeah, but it's not illegal. So I don't know why you guys are bringing it up. If anything, you guys should be
I
accepting the
never brought
best.
it up because I thought it was illegal. I can point to the fact that he's a convicted felon of 34 felonies. You were just saying you have an issue with being gay, so I'm just asking you, do you have an issue with him sucking dick?
It's not being gay isn't natural. All right, it's not natural.
What
It's
do you
not.
mean
It's a
by it's
sin.
not natural?
It's not like a natural process. Like a man is meant to be with a woman because he can impregnate her and have kids,
Wait, so,
reproduce.
okay,
But
what does it mean to be natural?
just like following natural order, like biology,
Yeah, you're not
biological.
responding.
All right, well, like being natural would just be like like following like natural order. Like I said, man,
And
like
what is
like
that? You just keep repeating natural.
reproducing.
Reproducing? So
Um,
do you think that oral sex is natural?
no, it's not.
Okay,
It's
do you
not
think oral
natural.
sex is wrong?
No, it's not wrong.
Okay, so just because some
Because
like a type of sex act isn't quote unquote natural, that doesn't mean whether or not it's wrong or right under your view. One, two, if you want to reference like natural to mean like it exists in nature, gay sex exists in nature.
well, like physically, if we, it doesn't even have to be coming from a religious perspective. Like physically, anal sex is damaging to your body, and and then Dean Withers, he just
Wait,
kept
so I
talking
have a
about.
question. I have a question then. Do you think that if their dick is small, do you think it's not wrong then if it's not damaging at all in that context to you?
The act itself can be
Answer,
damaging,
wait, answer the
so it doesn't
question.
matter.
Answer the question. If for you, you're going to consider it
Yeah.
damaging because of the fact that someone would be packing. Can you answer the question? If someone's dick is small, is it okay then?
No, because it can still
Wait, but
cause
like,
damage if
what damage happened under your view? Because
just
what you would consider
just in
damage, by the way.
general, it typically causes like health problems.
What
So
health
even if
problems?
in that case it might like
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 ST?
an anal prolapse, right? Like
Oh,
STDs,
like
yeah,
okay,
STDs.
so as long as you don't prolapse, you're okay.
Well,
Like
it's like it
if
causes
people
a risk
engage
of
in
death
anal
only.
sex and there's no prolapse, would you say it's okay?
Well, like also it's like it's
Wait, I'm asking you
spreading
the
out through
question, right? If people engage in anal
yeah.
sex and there's no prolapse, would you think it's okay?
No, because there's a risk of it.
And by the way, how do you know this terminology? Did you research it?
I mean, from the interview, from the debate, I mean, they were talking
What
about
debate?
this like a lot. And I know what an anal prolapse is. It's disgusting, but like you learn these things. The debate
Where
between
did you learn
Tina
this?
Fuentes. When you're a kid, you look up gross things, and in middle school, your friends show you gross things on their
So
phone.
you were
Like
looking
like
this up yourself on.
no, like just that's just part of growing up. You learn about like weird, gross things,
Yeah,
like
it's
taboo
just part
things.
of growing up. You just search up this on the internet. Like.
Your friends
So
show you
wait,
the shit. Like it's
hold
a
up.
natural.
I just want to clarify. Like, so like you had nothing wrong with you doing that, like searching that up and looking into that. And by the way, you're still not answering the
No,
question.
hey, bro, I just want to say, by the way, your friends are, I mean, your fans are mad at you. They're saying
No,
L
they're not.
Parker because you're not. I'm seeing a couple of L Parkers. But
What?
I
You mean
mean, because
there's
of
some
the
Trump
debate.
supporters in the comment section saying L Parker?
Well, I thought it was your. Okay, maybe that is a couple of Trump supporters. I thought it was your fans because we were talking about gay sex being damaging. But yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, you hear
It's
about
not
these things, and
damaging.
then
I'm
you don't know.
arguing against that, and I'm saying in the context in which there's no prolapse, do you think it's okay?
No, because there can be.
No.
It, like
Okay. So
it could
so wait.
cause
No. If there was a situation where it's impossible for there to be a prolapse,
okay.
would you then be okay with it?
It's not just a prolapse. There's
Wait.
other health
Okay. So
issues.
then what
Like
else? What
it,
else?
it also just like stretches out that orifice. So
Okay, so if their dick
it's
is
like
small, is it okay?
no, because all like there's also
Okay, so
AIDS, like
then, but it's not
STDs.
going to stretch very much. Like your shits are going to stretch more than that, right?
And
Dude.
also,
Yeah, dude, seriously, like genuinely, come on. In that
first
context.
of all, it's different because I think when you're excreting, you like you're naturally like relaxed. So it's but if you just like push
Yeah,
into that
but
where it's
if
like
so
very
if
tight,
you're
like
relaxed and they have a small dick, is it okay?
no man, because
Okay, wait, so
also
it
like
has
that's not what
nothing
the
to
penis is
do
for.
has nothing to do with how much it's going to be stretched out.
That's not even what the penis is. I just want to say, bro, you're getting awfully happy talking about gay sex, but that's not what the act is
No,
for. It's
no,
about like
I'm getting
inseminating
happy
partners
debunking
that
you and showing you that what you're saying doesn't make any sense. And you're thinking for some reason it was about gay sex because you're stupid.
all right, well, it like a penis is not meant to inseminate somebody's colon. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah, and you
that's
could say the same
gross.
thing with someone's mouth. You don't think oral sex is wrong. And what do you mean
Well,
by
that's
meant
because
to? What do you mean by meant to? If someone intentfully
like
does it, then it was meant
biologically,
to in that context.
biologically, what it's intended to do, what it's like
Well,
intended
what do you mean by
purposes.
biologically? Was the okay? I mean, you could say that for a bunch of different things, right? Like
That's
oral
why the
sex. You
penis
could
is
say
like
that for like doing it to yourself, man, right into a tissue, right? Do you think that's wrong?
listen, like that's why the penis is the shape that it is, and like why it has all these functions. Like it's I
No,
mean,
wait.
well, it
I
has
answer the
one
question. Do you
function.
think it's wrong to do it to yourself into a napkin?
Yeah. Yeah, that's wrong.
You think
That's
that's
like
wrong? You think it's morally wrong?
yeah, well, I mean, that's on like a personal like discipline level because that's obviously bad for
But
you,
no,
and
is it
that's a sin.
morally wrong?
Morally, I wouldn't say
Okay.
it's wrong.
Okay. But like, is that where your
I
quote
mean,
unquote
like
insemination is supposed to go?
gay sex isn't,
Oh.
I guess, morally wrong
Oh. Okay.
if
So
you're
it's
not
not
committing,
morally wrong.
but it's harmful. It's harmful to your
No, it's
body. So
not.
that's where it is, bro. Like I told you about these gay people, they have to wear diapers, things
Again,
like that. That like
dude, I don't understand this particular point you're making there. Right? I think this is a ridiculous
because
point. If you want to reference people wearing diapers, I don't know why you're not referencing Donald Trump, one.
no, because
Two, I don't think that there's any argument for you to specifically say in this context. If you want to reference like things that could be more harmful, wait, would you say specifically because pregnancy is harmful, right? That it's wrong to be pregnant and to give birth because pregnancy is harmful?
no, because it's naturally
Oh,
like biologically what we're
oh,
supposed to
I
do.
think that gay sex is natural as well. It exists in nature. There's
Well, if
thousands of
that's what
different
you base it
species
off,
that exhibit gay intercourse. There's even like animal species that raise right children in gay relationships. Like for example, penguins. There are penguins that in gay relationships raise members of their species, like and adopt them.
well, are we animals? Animals also go out and
We
kill
are
each other and
animals,
eat each other.
yes. We
We're
actively
more.
yes are animals. And by the way, I'm not saying because it's natural that means it's right. I was just disputing your point based upon that. And secondly, yes, we are animals. Do you think we're animals?
I'd say there is a difference between human beings
Yeah,
and
so there's
other.
human animals and then non-human animals. So, do you
Yeah,
think that
I'd say
human
so.
beings are animals?
Well, we have a soul,
Oh,
which
who's
makes the
denying
difference.
biology now? Answer the question. Are human beings
Okay, yeah,
animals?
well, yeah, human being. I guess human beings are animals, but like we have a soul. You know what I mean? We're very different from any other kind of animal. We're put here by God.
Okay, okay.
So
Now you're appealing to God. And by the way, animals
yeah.
were put here by God as well, non-human animals. And you don't think a dog has a soul?
Um. Yeah. Well, they like a dog can have a very strong human like connection to
No, do dogs
humans.
have souls?
I don't. I wouldn't. No. No. I think humans are the only thing on Earth with souls. Is humans. I don't think
Okay.
dogs have souls.
Okay. So then I guess my question would then be is like if you're basing it on your particular religious prescriptions, well then I'll ask you, what makes you believe that this particular religious prescription is true?
Well, that's a like you can't really explain that. That's like a long. There's a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of backups to Christianity in the Bible, like what the Bible says to like what is on Earth. That it's a lot. It has the most like true accounts out of any religion. So like I was
Oh,
talking to
and what tells you
ChatGPT
that?
about this.
What tells you that there are more true accounts in Christianity than any other religion?
Well, I was typing to ChatGPT about this. It actually said if any religion is true, it's
He's like,
most
dude,
likely
I
Christianity.
promise you, Christianity's true because ChatGPT said it.
Well, that's not what I'm basing it off, bro. But I mean, it's just that like that's a very intelligent AI source, and it thinks based off historical accounts, most likely out of any religion, Christianity is true. So if one
Okay,
religion was
well,
true, but anyway, let me ask
by
you,
the way,
Parker. What?
that's I think that's definitely ridiculous to say. And even if ChatGPT said that, that's not an argument. Can you give me an actual argument other than some AI language model said it?
Well, I don't have the sources on me right now. I don't know which like
Interesting.
verses depicts. But Parker, can I ask you what is your faith? Man, do you have a faith? Are you an
Here, one second.
agnostic
Let
or are
me
you?
thank some people real quick, and then I will go on to that real quick. Lexi, thank you so much for the $2. I'll definitely make sure to ask him on that real quick. Tara, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $20. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. It seriously though, seriously. System, thank you so much for the $2. But he wouldn't know that honestly, Tara. By the way. Soul, thank you for the $5. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Hugh, thank you so much for the 5. Devin, thank you so much for the $2. Soul, thank you for the $2 as well. Seriously. The Relic, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Devin with the 5. Soul, thank you for the 5. Unknown Quantity, thank you for the $5. Soul again with the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. The Relic, thank you so much for the $50. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Seriously, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Andrew, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. As well as RT, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $2. Thank you. I have some more people to thank. Courtney, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Seriously, though. Emily, thank you so much for the dollar. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's crazy. That's crazy. Rachel, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Cassandra, thank you so much. I really appreciate the dollar. Thank you. Seriously. Tammy, thank you so much for the dollar. Brianna, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Paige, thank you for the dollar. Tammy, thank you for the $2. Katie, thank you for the dollar. Libby, thank you so much for the $20. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Courtney, thank you for the $10. Tori, thank you for the $5. Shannon, the $5. Thank you. Jessica with the $5. Lexi, the $3. Lindsay, thank you so much for the $15. Really appreciate it. Madeline, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Gladys, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Stephanie, thank you so much for the dollar. Kendra, thank you for the $10. Appreciate it. Thank you. Ellie, thank you so much for the $6. Thank you so much. And Sydney, thank you for the 10. I have a question. And I know you have your question, but I wanted to ask this right before. God's all knowing, all powerful, right?
Yep.
Why did God put a G spot in the male asshole?
That's gross, man. But
Yeah,
I
like
don't
why
think
did he
that's
make
true.
it pleasurable? Why did he purposefully do that?
I don't think it's pleasurable at all. I don't think that's true, man. I think that's a lie.
Well, like I just want to let you know there are a lot of people that have done it that will talk about the fact that it is to them. So it's like I'm asking you the question: why did God biologically put the male G spot?
Well, that is like, I think there might be things that are on our body that like are not intentional, maybe. So that could be something like I just don't think
It was
I don't
non-intentional.
think
Wait, so God did it unintentionally? He made gay sex pleasurable unintentionally, but I thought he was all knowing and all powerful. So how did he
well, like I don't even think that's
unintentionally
true.
or unknowingly do it?
I don't think there's a G spot in the male asshole. Like I think that's
There
just something
actually
you
is.
guys
It's called
say.
the
Like,
P spot, bro.
well, yeah.
Wait,
You know
what
how that
happened to?
works?
Wait, so are you denying science right now? Are you denying biology?
Yeah. Well, I don't think like there's a G spot in the male. Like that is just.
Well, like you're
I don't
just
think
denying
that's true.
biology, dude.
All right. Well, you could say that about other things too, but it's like
What
there
do you
might
mean? I'm
be
I'm
some
I'm
things
basing
that
this off of
on the
like.
body.
Wait, do you want to use ChatGPT to look it up? Ask ChatGPT.
Right.
Is there a male G spot? Look it up. Use your favorite source.
Okay. Okay. The male
They're
G
gonna they're gonna
spot
tell
might
you
be.
the same thing.
It might be real, but like there's things on our body that
Wait, so
like
given that it
examples
is
you got
real,
put
tell me
there.
why did God make it?
Some reason that I don't know. There could be maybe there's another reason that God put that there,
There's some
or
reason
like
out there that Jesus Christ made gay sex pleasurable. Some reason out there.
I don't even know how you would discover that in the first place because I'm not
How
like
how
19
would
years old
someone
first.
discover that? Do you think gay people exist?
Yeah, well, like it's just like you're not meant to. There might be a G spot, it might be pleasurable, but that doesn't like defeat the fact that it's just you're not meant to do it. Biologically, it's not.
You just keep saying you're not meant to do it. Why? Why?
Why? Um, because there's no reason to do it, and also because it's harmful. So
Again, you by the way, there is a reason to do it. And when you say it's harmful, right, that's not an argument against it. As you could say, sex amongst heterosexual couples is also harmful because it can lead to STDs. It can lead to negative outcomes, right? There are harmful implications that can come from engaging in sex.
yeah, we're having the same conversation that Nick and Dean had, and I mean, obviously, we've got your audience right now that are gonna say, obviously, Parker's winning because I mean, this is your audience. But on the Aiden Ross live, everyone was saying, Nick Fuentes, like everyone in the chat was talking about Nick Fuentes. So like, I think the
You mean the
general consensus.
13-year-olds in Aiden Ross's kick chat? Are you kidding me? You're going to say that it's a better reference for who's going to be right in Aiden Ross's chat where they were just spamming that Dean was gay rather than my chat of like actual adults. Right? And by the way, I feel like the younger people that come into my live stream are significantly smarter than the people in Aiden Ross's chat. I think genuinely Aiden Ross's chat is like obscenely fucking
Yeah.
stupid.
I could agree with that. Obviously, with a lot of these younger, I mean, with a lot of these like kick streamers, there's a lot
Because
of
Aiden
young
Ross
people.
is known for being like some philosophical, intellectual genius, right? Like he definitely he's
Well,
very known for being smart, right?
well, you've seen the interview. I mean, well, have you seen the interview of Nick Fuentes and Dean Withers? Have you like watched it at the debate?
Have I watched their debate? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, obviously you agree with Dean, so you're gonna say he dunked on him, he won.
Yeah. I
But
mean, you
like
can't tell me a
amongst,
single point that that what's it called? Well, actually, I have this question. How do you feel about Nick Fuentes saying that he's not straight yet?
Well, what he was saying there was that he hasn't participated in straight sex, so he's not
I don't think
actually
that's what
straight
makes you
yet.
straight or not. Like I was straight before I had sex. Were you straight before you had sex?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah, you were.
well, actually,
So then what he's saying there makes no sense, right?
well, it could be like, consider the like there could be some people that think if you haven't had like your actual actions determine what your sex is, not just how you feel. And it's also the same as like on the gender thing. Like your gender is determined by your actual biology and not just how you feel. Like the left is like filled with like it's all about like emotions and like how you feel and like you can be whatever you want if you put your mind to it. Like and it's just really like I feel like weaker people. Like this isn't what society was built off. It's not built off
If you want to
people.
talk
It
about
wasn't built off.
believing things with no evidence, we can talk about your religious beliefs if you'd like to. We asked you about that earlier and you provided no justification. You're the one arguing from emotion right now. This whole live stream, I've given you arguments against everything you've said. You've been arguing from emotion this whole stream.
Yeah. Well, you've got the sources, man. You've got everything to back it up. I could say something, you could debunk it. There's not a lot because like I told you, I haven't read Trump's economic policies. I'm
We
not
weren't even
coming in
talking
here
about
with a
Trump's
lot.
economic policies. We talked about social issues. We talked about everything you wanted to talk about, and I debunked you on your issues that you wanted to bring up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like you've been doing this your whole life, man. Look, I'm just a regular guy.
My
And I
whole
see.
life?
I mean, well,
I grew
your
up in a
whole
conservative
career.
Christian household. I was a Trump supporter in high school. I changed my
You
mind
did.
because I genuinely was open-minded. I was able to critically think, and given the new information and informing myself into politics, right, I was able to change my mind. You know what got me involved into politics more?
What?
My civics class in high school. Debating people on the internet. I used to talk to people on Omegle for hours every single day because I was genuinely interested in hearing other people's perspectives and trying to come to the best argument possible to explain my worldview. So what I
Okay.
want you to do, what I want everyone to do, is I want them to critically think and question these belief systems because ideologues like Nick Fuentes rely on you not critically thinking to try to control you.
Well, you can't argue that Nick Fuentes isn't a really smart guy, and his positions have merit. Like he has a lot of
No, they don't. They
information
do
to
not
recommend.
have merit. He quite literally said he would slaughter men, women, children, and infants of Amalek if God commanded him.
Well, I think what he was also in that live, a lot of what he said, he's being facetious. He's just messing around because he's trying
Oh,
to be
okay. So
entertaining
by
for
the way, this is what he relies on. He relies on you not knowing specifically what his perspective is and just changing his mind and saying anything he can. And anyways, no matter if you just consider it absurd, if there's any type of argument against it, all you have to resort to is, oh, it was just a joke. It was just a joke. No, he wasn't joking. He was being serious when he said that.
Mm.
That's a logical entailment of his perspective.
If you believed, well, obviously God wouldn't ask him to kill infants anyway. So
Well, have you read
that's not
1
gonna
Samuel
happen, but
15:3?
also-
1 Samuel 15:3, God commands Saul and his men to slaughter the men, women, children, and infants of Amalek. Read your Bible.
Do you defend Islam?
No.
Okay, well, all right.
Do you defend,
yeah, I
do you
mean, well,
defend Christianity?
yes.
So
Yeah,
then
but I don't
explain
know
that.
well, I think what Nick Fuentes said was that was like
Why do
that
you
takes
watch that
place,
guy? It's so
like,
cringe, bro.
the Old Testament. I don't really watch. I don't like him. We came up here. I'm not here to
Then
defend
why do you
Nick
keep bringing
Fuentes.
him up?
I don't like him. Well, because he's so popular right now, you can't not bring him up. He's
Yeah,
like
you
the
can
main
not bring him
number
up.
one.
You absolutely can choose not to bring him up. There's other popular people on the right. Why have you only talked
Well,
about him?
he's
Candace
like the
Owens is
most
way more popular.
Really?
Yes.
I think Candace Owens is kind of insane. Like she's talking about.
And you don't think
Did you
Nick
see her,
Fuentes is insane?
Well, did you see? Well, I'm
What
saying that
type of
for a reason.
crazy
Did you
shit
see
is that?
her-
I'm sorry. How can you say Candace Owens is insane but not Nick Fuentes?
Well, that's not what I'm saying. Why I'm saying Candace Owens is insane is because of her crazy theories, not
Yeah,
like
and
because
Nick
of her
Fuentes
beliefs.
has crazy theories too. He denied how many people died in the Holocaust. And he only, by the way, if you want to talk about being facetious, when Piers Morgan asked him about how many people he thinks died in the Holocaust, he calls himself a Holocaust maximalist, right? Because he's
Yeah.
joking in that context, because he actually does believe that less than 6 million Jewish people were killed in the Holocaust. He just claims that because, again, he knows that he'll get fucking absolutely destroyed in the media if he literally says that in front of so many people. So what he's doing, he's trying to play the edge of the line, be as edgy as possible to try and shift the culture to some straight fucking far right fascist nightmare, even further than it already is. That's what his goal is. And you should not be supporting that at all. You should be against that. You should be actively acknowledging that he's a threat to our community. Like, for example, Aiden Ross platforming him, that is so fucking sick and disgusting that young children are learning from that. That's the shit they're seeing, and that's what they're learning from.
Well, young children can watch a lot of things. Like, it's not just
I
exclusively
genuinely think
young
it's one of the
children
most
that
harmful things they could watch.
Yeah, well, why don't you try and get your platform out to things like Aiden Ross, then, if you want more kids to be like listening to
Because
your
Aiden Ross
political
only wants to
beliefs,
platform Nick
also.
Fuentes in a debate. And by the way, like
And
that could be a thing that even happens. Like if there would be a situation where he'd want us to go on and debate, right? We would go on and debate. But that's to change the minds of the people who are on the audience, because there's so many eyes and people who are impressionable, not involved in politics that much, and that the only information they've seen is from idiots like Aiden Ross.
Well, look, that's part of growing up. Like, am I wrong? You go on the internet, especially in our age, you go on the internet and you can see all kinds of people, all kinds of political beliefs.
But that
Like,
doesn't
that's
mean
just
that they're
part
all
of
good
growing up.
influences. We're
That's
telling
wrong.
them that all I'm saying is he's a bad influence. Does that make
I think
sense?
kids should be allowed. I think kids should be allowed to watch Nick Fuentes and like
Wait, even
grow
if it's
up and
harmful?
decide.
Even if it's harmful?
Well, they should be able to decide what their political beliefs are.
Wait,
Logically, they
wait.
should like.
Weren't you just up here arguing that gay intercourse is wrong because you consider it quote unquote harmful, but then you're saying it's totally okay for young kids to engage in watching Nick Fuentes even though you consider it harmful?
I wouldn't say watching him is harmful. I'd say taking in what he has
Oh.
to say
You don't think
is
watching
harmful.
a white supremacist is harmful for children? You'd let your kid
Watching
watch
him
Nick
and
Fuentes?
deciding, like watching him. No, yeah,
Oh,
you know what, I would. I would let my kid watch
you
whatever
let
he
your
wanted to watch
child
and
watch
decide.
Nick Fuentes.
Well, I feel like that's part
Then
of
you're a
growing up.
shitty
In our
parent.
generation,
You are genuinely a
is
shitty parent if you'd let your fucking child watch Nick Fuentes.
what you want me to put him
Would you let a
sitting down
fifth
with
grader
the.
watch Nick Fuentes?
No, I would say
Okay.
getting to the ages of around 13, 14,
You'd let a
15 is when you're
13-year-old
ready to
watch
go.
Nick Fuentes, dude.
Well, you're becoming an adult at 13. Like you're
You're
coming into the
becoming
world.
an
You're
adult
getting
at
to.
13? What
Yeah,
type
that's
of
when you
fucking
start becoming.
crazy shit did you just say? What the fuck?
You're
No, you're
not an
not.
adult.
At 13 years old, you're becoming a teenager. You're hitting
Yeah, but like,
puberty. What are you
that's
talking
the
about?
process.
What do you mean they're becoming an adult?
Parker, can I explain myself without you saying, "What do you mean you're talking crazy"? That's when you arrive. Like you're coming to puberty. You're coming to puberty. You're starting to like come into this world and hear about a lot more
Going through
political
puberty does
things.
not mean you're becoming an adult.
Well, that's the process. That's the biological process of becoming an adult. So it literally is.
Wait, no, you're not understanding. You're not understanding. After you've been through puberty, you're still a kid,
Yeah,
right? In most
I'm
instances,
not
do you think,
saying
dude? Do you think a
we are still
17-year-old's
kids.
a kid?
13-year-olds are kids.
Do you think a 17-year-old's a kid?
I'd say it's probably a kid that's like very close to just being a full adult. It's like a kid that's like becoming
It's
an
a
adult.
kid.
That's
So,
very
but like
close
it's
to
still a
becoming.
kid. So a 13-year-old's definitely a kid, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
They're
So
starting.
then
But
you
they're
saying
starting
that
the
they're
process.
becoming an adult? What are you talking
Yeah.
about? That's like saying an infant is becoming an adult. Yeah,
No, it's
they're
not,
en
man.
route to become an adult. They're going through
Because listen,
biological processes to age.
let me explain myself. Like puberty is the process of going from a kid, like an adolescent,
And
to
you're
an adult.
becoming an elderly man right now.
I mean, day by day, slowly I am. But what I'm saying,
Do you
like
see
that's
how
the
ridiculous it
dramatic.
is? How old are you?
Well, I'm 19, man. I'm about to
You're
turn 20.
19. So is it ridiculous to say that a 19-year-old is becoming an elderly man?
Yes, but like
Yeah.
puberty is like the accelerated. It's like the accelerated. Like that's the track you go on to. That's when you like. I'm sure when you looked when you were 12, I'm sure you didn't look how you are now. Well, I mean, you kind of have you don't really have a super developed face, but like you have a like when you're 12, you have a very different face from like when you're 15. Like that's when you're starting puberty and you're really gonna develop a lot.
Yeah, so meaning you're not an adult yet.
Yeah, you're not an adult yet, but you're becoming an adult, is what
Oh
I'm
my
saying.
God,
That's
dude.
when you start
And you're
becoming
becoming an
adult.
elderly man.
Bro, it's like the accelerated track. Like
Yeah,
13
infants are
to like
becoming
20.
elderly people.
Like 13 to like 20, you're an adult.
Do you realize how
That's
ridiculous this is? It's far away. So when you're saying
But
becoming, it
puberty,
doesn't make sense.
puberty, like those few years are like super fast of development. They're very different than any other years. Like like a baby to a toddler
I don't know
is a
what
lot
is this
faster.
argument? What is the point of this?
All right, because we were talking about like kids going on the internet and like developing their political opinions and seeing what's going on in this world and looking
Yeah,
at
and
all
it's
different kinds of
harmful.
views.
And we're saying it's harmful to watch Nick Fuentes and to have kids, 13-year-olds, watch Nick Fuentes. Do you think that's harmful?
I think they should be intelligent enough to decide what they're gonna take in.
A
And
13-year-old?
obviously, I wouldn't want
A
my kids.
13-year-old. Do you
I
think a
wouldn't want my kids
13-year-old
watching that.
should have the ability to be able to decipher all of these particular niche, relevant things within the context of politics? Like
I don't
all
think
these
we should
facts,
baby them.
you think that the average 13-year-old should be able to decipher that?
I don't think we should baby them. I don't think we should treat them like they don't know what the hell they're doing. Like I know a lot of
I'm
like when
sorry.
I was growing up.
Do you
kids
have
that are
you
really
ever
intelligent.
fucking been a 13-year-old yourself?
Yes, man. And when I was that age, there was a lot of
Dude,
kids.
when
that
I
were
was
a lot
13
more
years old, I'm
intelligent.
sorry. Maybe there's one 13-year-old, there's a few 13-year-olds that are probably watching this stream able to understand things that happen, but I think the average 13-year-old is definitely not able to decipher between all the different facts on social media to decipher between what they accept and what they don't accept. Hell, adults aren't fucking able to do that right now, by the way.
Yeah, I mean exactly.
Like,
And
I
so,
have
like,
people
but if
join my stream every single day that don't have the ability to do that.
exactly. So does that mean we shouldn't be letting these adults watch Nick Fuentes too? Because they don't know
Well,
what
I
they're
think it's
doing. They're
harmful for
like,
them to watch Nick Fuentes too.
but should they be allowed to or not?
I'm not saying should be illegal. I'm just saying that, like,
Yeah.
from a parent perspective, you shouldn't let your kids watch Nick Fuentes.
Okay.
Like, if you're gonna limit
but
them
if
from
we
doing
go,
anything, limit them from watching a Nazi.
if we go into like medieval society and like like the Roman like civilization, at 13 you had a job, you were like pursuing your career,
Shut the
you're
fuck up.
in the society. Like that's like, and now we now that like what do you mean shut the fuck up? What are you talking about, bro? Like
Yeah.
why are you being rude to me?
Why? Because this is a ridiculous argument.
I
You
think
saying
we
you saying
should
that
let,
13-year-olds in the
like,
past had lots of particular things that they did within the context of the house and around and work and stuff like that is a wild comparison. Comparing us to medieval society is diabolical.
yeah, well, that's when you're gonna like it's I'm just saying that that is the age when you're gonna start going into the world and developing your own opinions and seeing all different people, all
Yeah,
different kinds
yeah,
of political
and you can
commentary.
develop
Like,
opinions and you can hear out of outside perspectives without it being
yeah,
people like Nick Fuentes. I think there are reasonable people to let your fucking kid listen to, right? I don't
yeah.
think Nick Fuentes is one of those people. And don't even normalize that. That's absurd.
And also
You
we should
shouldn't want
like
your Republican
trust the
Party represented by people like him. It makes you look
we should
worse. I'm
trust
just gonna
the
let you know the average person thinks he's
no, I
fucking
don't. I
crazy.
don't. Yeah, I don't. I'm not defending Nick Fuentes right now. I'm just defending.
He just cut out. Mitchell, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $15. Thank you so much, Mitchell. Haley, thank you so much for the $5. Really appreciate it. It's honestly crazy. Benjamin, thank you so much for the $10. Seriously though, Benjamin, thank you so much. Haley, thank you for the $5. Susan with the $2. Jenna with the $1. Katie, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Literally nowhere near adulthood. Shrill, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. Soul, thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Same. I literally didn't even think about it once. Relic, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you.
Yeah. But all I was trying to say was the. Sorry, I got cut off there. I see something. But I think like that is the age where we should trust that like kids that age should be mature enough to do the research,
Okay.
and
I have a
actually
question.
like
Do you believe
figure
in
it out.
separation
Yeah.
of church and state?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't believe religious reasons are a
Definitely.
reason to make the law a certain way?
No.
No? So it's
That's
based on your
that's
personal
in the
values, correct?
Constitution. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
all
Well,
these
yeah.
claims that you were saying that Christianity would be a basis for you believing what you believe in terms of the like politics would be then incorrect because you don't think religious reasons are a good reason to say that it should be a certain way in terms of the law.
Well, I don't think for all of society it should be enforced to follow one religion.
Yeah. So
But
do you think abortion should
like
be
it's
illegal?
uh yeah. Well, I don't I am pro-life, but I don't have the arguments like you have all the statistics, man. I can't argue that. That's why I didn't
If
bring it
Donald
up. That's
Trump
why I
called
can't.
for the execution of some Democrats because they said to follow the law and to not follow unlawful orders, would you still support him?
I heard about that. And listen, I don't like a lot of what he says is very questionable. But what I'm against is voting in someone who's going to be super progressive like 2020, you know, like just that like insane era of
Tell us,
just I
tell us
remember
what
growing
what
up
what's
like
progressive that's bad.
um it's just like trying to destroy our way of life. Like you try and it progressive it, like modern leftism paints like white people as like the bad people in our way of life as like evil, you know, and always oppressors. And it's like, you know, that like that's just like that's what I
Wait,
hate
we're not just
because
saying
I
white
love
people bad.
because-
What are you talking about? I'm a progressive. We're
well, I've
not just
seen
saying white people bad. What are you saying?
yeah, well, it's and also there's a lot of issues like with the transgenderism and
Be specific.
pronouns and the you
What
know
about
like
pronouns?
I don't want my kid growing up in a school where the teachers are telling him, yeah, you can be a z zir zay zem whatever we want, like because kids are like gonna like play fantasy and they're gonna be like, you know, playing like he's a
I'm sorry.
dragon, you know.
What classroom around America is teaching kids about neopronouns?
Well,
You are
like
making up
just there's a
hypothetical
lot of woke
scenarios just to
schools
get mad at.
in like California. There's a lot of woke schools that
Yeah, I live in
teach.
California. Tell me where in California they're teaching kids neopronouns.
All right, maybe not neo pronouns, but even just transgenderism, like telling
That
my little
trans
boy that
people
he can be
exist?
a girl. Well, telling him that he can, you know, choose to be a girl. I don't want him hearing that. Like
You don't want him
well,
hearing
I
that
mean,
trans people exist. Do you think your
at
kid's
such
gonna
a young
become
age.
trans because they heard trans people exist?
Yes, because at such a young
Yes,
age,
you do
like
think that?
three,
So I have a
four,
question.
five.
If you were young, do you think that if you
Yeah,
heard that you can be trans, that it would have made you trans?
it could have. It definitely would have influenced me a lot because there's those are the crucial years of growing up when you're like 4, 5, 6, you know, like hearing so many things, like maybe even all the way up to like 9, you know, like you're super impressionable. You can't
To
at all
clarify,
pretty
you
much,
think
you
that
know.
you could have been trans?
Yeah, if I was taught like yeah, you know, if maybe if I wasn't getting a lot of attention at home like a lot of these young kids, and I was told that like as an outlet, yeah, you can like be different and you can like stand out, you know, like if you want, like it's kind of, a lot of them are just doing it for attention, like they're just young kids that aren't getting a lot of attention at home, so they're saying yeah, I'm trans
Okay, I
because they
just want to
want
let you
like
know. Okay, do you realize how
yeah.
do you have a kid?
No, I'm 19, man.
Parents have an issue getting their kids to follow instructions all the time. How do you think they're going to teach them to be trans?
By like telling them those things,
Telling them you can
like
be trans, that there are people that are trans, is not going to make them
well,
trans.
if you're watching trans people, you're more, and like gay people, you're more likely to
Oh, so you're just
become
saying
gay
gay
because you're,
people and trans people are so cool that because people are around
yeah,
them, they're going to want to be like them?
young kids that like want
So they're
attention
just
and they want
super
to be
cool. So
different.
you
You
just
know?
think that trans people and gay people are like super cool.
No, they're
That
not cool.
kids
They're
will
just
want to be like them.
maybe for really young kids, but then of course like 12, 13, 14, you start to become like edgy and you like, you know, rage against the machine. Like, you know, you think gay people are like, you know, you can't say, but you know, I'll get taken out alive. You know, just, you know, it's just
Well, you can't
there's
give any
like a
argument
very
for
big
this. You just
difference.
have bigoted opinions without reason, and it doesn't sound very Christian to me.
I don't have
You're
bigoted
taught to love
opinions.
thy neighbor. You don't do that. You hate thy neighbor.
Look, there's a very big difference between the ages of like 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. Like it's a very, you
You
can't just
think
say all kids
3-year-olds
are
are
the
being taught
same.
about trans people?
Um, and some preschools, like some people on the left, might be
Shut the fuck
pushing
up, dude.
their ideologies.
No, they're not teaching
They'll push
3-year-olds
their
about
ideologies.
trans people, dude. Shut the hell up.
Listen,
Do
man,
you just like
I
make
don't.
up lies for fun? Is this like fun for you?
Well, there could be teachers that are trying to push because
They're
people on
teaching
the
the
left are like
3-year-olds. They're teaching the 3-year-olds about trans people, everybody. They're making the 3-year-olds trans.
maybe maybe not systemically, but there could be preschools out there where there's, you know, teachers that are kind of insane and they, you know, they want to push their
Where,
ideologies onto these
dude?
young kids.
This is a made up scenario in your head. Okay? And by the
This
way,
could happen. This
yeah, no,
probably
3-year-olds are not being taught to be trans anywhere in the state. Or not in the state, anywhere in the country. If
yeah.
you'd like to provide a source otherwise, I'd love to see.
All right. Well,
Let
yeah,
me
they're
know where
probably not.
3-year-olds are being taught to be
Maybe
trans.
they're not.
I'd love to see.
Maybe they're not. But there's definitely elementary schools. There's
Wait,
definitely elementary
by the
schools
way,
that
when
have.
do you start elementary school?
You start elementary school after preschool.
Yeah, and how old are you in preschool?
Your preschool is like 3, like or like 2.
It's
Is it
like
like
4
2
or
or
5,
3?
isn't it?
Well, I thought you got put into preschool when you like just become a toddler. Like it's very young. I don't know. So
I don't
I'm not in
remember
preschool.
preschool when I went to preschool being when I was 3 years old.
Okay, well, yeah, well, it's got to be like okay, like 3, 4, something around there. You got to be that
So
age.
this is how I know you just made this scenario up because you didn't even know
Well,
that 3-year-olds aren't even really in preschool very often, right?
well, look, I don't know a lot of 3-year-olds. It's been 16 years
It's
since
mostly
I
4 or
was
5.
3.
Now I'm not saying that's never happened, but I mean I think it's not as common to be in preschool and 3 years old.
All right. Well, at least in elementary schools, we can say elementary schools they're starting to
Elementary is like
push these.
5 years old.
No, elementary is like you'd be like, well, you start elementary when you're like you're grade 6. You're like 11, so go back 6. You'd be like you're like 5, like 6, or like 5 or 6, starting elementary. Is that correct?
According to what is this?
Or, no, you'd be like 6 or 7 when you start.
Apparently 17% of the total pre-K population consists of 3-year-olds.
All right, we'll see. That's at least 17% isn't nothing. That's it's like 1 in 5.
A little less than that.
Yeah, little.
And you think
Of
that
course,
the
I know.
3-year-olds are being taught to be trans in pre-K?
No, I'm just saying it. Like there, some people on the left are just so extreme with their ideologies, and they're so
Like what?
like
Be specific.
selfish that they
I feel like
they want to teach these kids.
this is just like progressive woke. It's just this buzzword for you, like this group that you just hate. You can't tell us what you actually specifically or disagree with us. Do you think I am in this sort of like progressive mentality?
I wouldn't say you're super extreme, but you're
Okay,
on the
well then
left.
let me tell you something crazy. I'm to the left of the Democratic Party. So if you think I'm not
Okay.
extreme, then who the fuck in the Democratic Party is extreme?
Listen, Parker, you remember the year of 2020. You remember that year because that's kind of my example. Because I remember that
Yeah,
year
I
when I was
remember when
growing up.
Donald Trump literally said that he won the 2020 election with absolutely no evidence, and he sent people to the Capitol, and they beat police officers, and then in 2025 he called them patriots and pardoned them.
Well, there was a lot of people that the reason that got stormed is because a lot of people thought it was rigged because of how there was the lockdown, like a lot of votes
Yeah, there
didn't
was
get
no
counted
evidence
properly.
that it was rigged. If you want to say mail-in ballots, how did Trump vote?
Hmm?
How did Trump vote in 2020?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Mail-in ballot.
All right, well,
He
I
voted
also
by
had a
the very
question.
process that he said was fraudulent.
Parker,
Yeah.
you'll probably know this. Besides the topic, can president uh can they vote for themselves? Can Trump like vote for himself?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, let's get. That was just a that was just a quick side topic question because I was just curious about that. You know you're very all right. So yeah, we're talking about
How
Trump
many
in the
branches of
2020
government
election.
are there?
It's like branches of government, like 4 or 5. Or what do you mean by branches of government? What do you mean by that? Like, what does that mean?
Before we go into this, tell me, what are the 4 or 5 branches of government?
Like I don't know, man. Like I don't. I'm just guessing. I don't know. What is the branches of government? What are
Okay,
you talking
there's
about? Like
3
I don't
branches of
know.
government: judicial,
3. Okay.
legislative, and executive.
Well, I didn't go to college, man.
You didn't learn
Might
this
not.
in college, you learned this in elementary school.
I don't recall learning that, but
Well,
there's a lot of yeah. Well, there you go.
how many continents are
Uh,
there?
like 7. It's like
And what are they?
there's bro. This isn't. I didn't come up here to be quizzed, man.
What are
This
they?
isn't a quiz. Like Asia, Australia, that's a continent. Um, Europe, Europe is a continent. Africa, Africa, and then there's that's 4. What else is there? There's like Russia, its own. There's like Russia, China, like that's like Mongolia. That's like is that a separate continent or is that? So that's a very big
No.
part. But I'm not. No.
No.
What is that part of? What is that part of?
Asia
Yo, Antarctica. And Antarctica.
and
Antarctica. I was
Europe,
forgetting about that.
Antarctica. Okay, what else?
And
You're forgetting two really easy ones, by the way.
well, there America is a continent, isn't it? Because you got like Brazil, Mexico, and North America. That's its own. Is that did I say that or
What else? You got six?
okay? Six. Well, there's one more I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'm yeah, no, I can't recall, man. I got yeah.
South
I don't
America.
know
South
South
America.
exactly. That was on the tip of my tongue.
Okay.
That was on the tip of my tongue.
I
And that's
bet.
where we are. We're in South America right now. No, we're in North America. We're in North America. So South
Well,
America.
you
That's
thought
yeah, but
you
I said
thought
Brazil.
Mongolia, Russia, and China were a continent too.
But that was like separate because I thought I said America. So and I said
I
Brazil,
have a question.
Mexico,
What temperature in Fahrenheit does water freeze?
minus 30, minus 20. What are we looking
32
at?
degrees Fahrenheit, dude.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, no, sorry, I got it mixed around. It's yeah, okay. I forgot the yeah, no, okay. All right. Well, anyway, that's part. Yeah, I'm a dumbass. Haha, you can yeah. All right. Now let's move on to what were you even talking about, bro? I'm like uh very funny, man. Your crowd is loving it.
I mean,
I'm
I
not
mean,
one of those educated types. I'm not one of those. I'm sorry, bro. Like this is I can't remember this shit, bro. I have more important things to do.
can you tell me what 2 squared is?
Yeah, two squared is that's like the number you need to times it by to get to itself. So two it would be like two. Or no, like one. Oh well, one two wouldn't have a square because one times one is one, and then two times two is four.
Oh god.
You're oh yeah,
2 times 2 or 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4.
exactly. Oh, two squared. Oh, I thought you were asking for the square root. See, I thought you were asking for yeah. Okay, two squared is of course four. That's just times itself. So yeah. Yeah. Hey, what's the square root of 64 then? Smart guy.
8.
All right. Respect. You got that.
Can you
You
name
got
like
that, man.
a Trump policy that he influenced to get passed that you like?
They were talking about at one of the Trump rallies. They were talking about overtime for or tips. There was tips for workers. Tips for workers were not going to be taxed.
Okay,
Is that correct?
that's a part of the big beautiful bill, which adds $3.4 trillion to the debt, cuts 420,000 children on average every single month off their access to food, free school lunch and breakfast, 2.5 million people off their access to food stamps on average every month, over 10 million people off their access to health insurance, while again adding $3.4 trillion to the debt and disproportionately giving tax cuts to the rich and wealthy.
Okay. The big beautiful bill. So I did hear about that. But I haven't really looked into it. So is that it? Is the big beautiful bill? That's a bad thing. Then you don't like the big beautiful bill.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's,
Actually, how about this? Is there anything Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him?
yes.
Such as?
Well, it's kind of weird that the Epstein files are all redacted. I mean, that's just crazy. But if he was criminally on the Epstein files for being a pedophile, then that would be obviously I wouldn't support him anymore if he was a pedophile.
I have a question.
Okay.
Do you like Zoran Mamdani?
Oh no, he's like a
Okay.
communist.
Can I ask you a question? How do you
Yeah.
feel about him supporting children learning Arabic numerals?
I think I don't think we should be teaching him that.
Why not?
Roman numerals we should be teaching him Rome. But what even is Arabic numerals. I've never even heard that one.
No, I'm just like asking, like, why do you think we shouldn't be teaching children Arabic numerals?
I think we should be teaching them more about our culture than Arabian culture.
Arabian culture? No, just okay. So be specific. So you're saying because it's not relevant to our culture. So numerals such as 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh, you're funny. You got
5,
me there. Okay.
6,
Arabic
7.
numerals
We
that are
shouldn't
just
be teaching
numbers.
children
You're
those
funny,
because
man.
they're Arabic numerals. Actually, everybody, we shouldn't be
Arabic nu-
teaching children Arabic numerals. Stop teaching
there,
numbers to children, everybody. You heard it here first,
there's
folks. Only Roman numerals from now on in school
is that
systems.
the
Only
is that the
Roman
first
numerals. And also, next
is
question:
that the first?
Why are
Yeah.
Roman numerals preferable to Arabic numerals under your view? Because you
Well,
didn't even know what
you
you didn't
just told
even
me
know what
that.
Arabic numerals were, but you were saying
Well,
that
I heard
Roman numerals
Arabic
were
and
preferable.
I heard Arabic and I thought that's foreign. Why are we teaching them that? But you just told me. There you go. There's your
Yeah,
first
you see
TikTok
what I
for the
mean? He heard Arabic and
Trump
he was
supporter.
immediately like, dude, what the fuck? We can't be teaching children that.
There you go, man.
Dude,
Trump
that
supporter doesn't
the thought
know
process
Arabic
there was
numerals.
crazy, bro.
Um, but yeah, like what were with Zohran Mamdani? Is he like too far left for you? Because I know he's pretty extreme far
I
left.
mean,
Or
there are things I disagree with him economically speaking on, of course, but like I don't think that like there's that much. I like him. I think he's great.
so, what do you think about communism? Because I know a lot of people on the left they
I'm
love
definitely not a
communism.
communist. I'm definitely not a socialist. But um,
Yeah, good. So
I
you
think
do you're a
what Zoran
Catholic.
Mamdani is advocating for is democratic socialism, which is essentially like in the moment social democracy, or like it's a progressive liberalism, which is essentially my ideology.
So you're not like on the left that like hates like capitalism and like how like you like you're pro capitalism, right? Or
There's certain aspects of capitalism I hate and I think are bad, but I mean I think that there are certain aspects of capitalism that we can maintain.
cool, cool. And with capitalism, what do you think is what are the aspects of it that you strongly disagree with
Yeah, like when it
or what?
results in market failures or people have lack of access to basic needs,
Okay.
lack of regulation.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be regulation, social safety nets, and baseline things to provide for everyone in our society. Isn't that like what
Cool.
Jesus would want?
Yeah.
To
No,
feed the
that's
poor,
true.
ensure
Well, I'm
that
glad to
the
hear that you're not
sick are treated.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to hear you're not advocating for communism on here. But can I ask, like, what was like the literature that you read when you were in high school to develop your political opinions? Like, 'cause you must have like some books and authors that like you and Dean like really liked during high school to come to these conclusions, or what did you read in high school?
I didn't read many books in high school relating to political beliefs. Again, I only got involved in politics really like to some degree like in 2019 for civics class, and that had nothing to do with like reading a bunch of books and stuff. I
Okay,
like I can point to like economics and stuff like that's when I started reading, but that's irrespective of the point you bring up. Like we had like the
all right. Oh,
textbooks
I
and
know
stuff.
we never got to it before. I just remembered, like when you were about to thank your guests. What is your faith, man? What is your belief, Parker?
Oh, I'm an agnostic atheist.
What, you're not. So what does that mean if you're an
It means I
agnostic
don't know
atheist?
what the cause of the universe is, and I don't believe it's a god.
Okay. Oh, all right. All right. Well, I mean, yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I feel like everyone's like that, kind of
Can I ask
agnostic.
you a question?
Everyone's like a little bit agnostic. Yeah.
Can you define communism?
Yeah. Communism is just like where everybody gets the same pay no matter what your job is, or that's pretty much the basic of it. And like the government is like more involved, or the government is it's like a classless society. I remember it's a classless society. I
Stateless,
remember learning that. Right?
classless, and moneyless society. So everyone cannot be paid the same if it's moneyless.
Well, everyone like yeah, it's just classless. Everyone gets the same is kind of what communism is, right?
It's not even necessarily that everyone gets the same.
Well, what is it then? What's
It's
your
it's
what am I
it's going to
missing?
be like a lack of access to what's considered private property. Now that doesn't mean that you don't have personal property, but there's a lack of access to private property or for-profit transactions on the basis of ownership over something. So it'd be like just like public ownership
Mm-hmm.
of the means to produce.
Okay,
So
so
Again, I'm not a communist. I'm just telling you what it is.
Yeah. So how have so many people like why do so many people, can you tell me why do so many people like on the far left arrive at communism as their
I
conclusion?
don't think most
What's
people on the liberal side are communists, or on the
or like a
Democratic
lot of
Party are
people?
communists.
Because I mean, I see a lot of lives on here. They're talking about communism is good, just communist things,
Sure.
So what?
I think
Why
that
are so
there's
many people?
sure there's communists that come on here. To be totally honest with you
So
though, do you think the
yeah,
communists get the most views? Do you think most people
no,
are watching the communists?
no.
Okay. So then like I don't think that's going to be representative of most of society, right? Now there's a lot of communists out there. I'm not going to dispute that, but I don't think that's going to be representative of most of society. I think most people on the Democratic side still believe in a form of capitalism.
Cool.
Now,
All
like
right.
again,
Well,
because in the U.S., right? Again, this is what a leftist would say. What we deem as leftist, right, isn't actually like from an economic perspective leftist. Leftist means anti-capitalist. So like, there's liberals.
oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. All right.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk
Well,
about before I go into the next person?
yeah, that's fine, man. What I want to ask also is what is your like position? Because now that like he's like an inevitable issue to talk about, and also I wanted to ask, what do you think you would do to try and attract more like teenagers like that are growing up that are going to be influenced, like you say, they're going to be influenced by these people? What are you going to do to try and like attract more young kids that are watching Nick Fuentes? What would be your and Dean's plan to try and get like more kids to be watching you instead of people like him?
I think engaging with these platforms, open dialogue, and debating with reason and logic.
All right, cool. All right, man. Well, yeah, you have a good night, bro. I
All
appreciate you
right.
having me up here.
You too, you too. Let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed in the TikTok screen. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. I'll probably go on for another 30 minutes or so. I was going to do a little bit less of a live today. I do have a few more people to thank real quick. Haley, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, as well as the $5. Felipe, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. Benjamin, thank you so much for the $50. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Seriously, though, Benjamin, I really appreciate the $50 on Venmo. Thank you so much. Seriously, though, thank you so much, Benjamin. I really appreciate it. Get some W's for Benjamin in the comment section for the $50 on Venmo. Thank you very much, Benjamin. Edgar, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you. Love you. Thank you so much for the dollar. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. True, true. Literally proved that on the live. Literally proved it on the live. Yeah, it typically doesn't happen until then, yeah. Totally agree. I wonder why so many people think it's happening so early on in elementary school and, like, pre-K. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? How old are you? Alrighty, let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Everyone, if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everyone. It really helps get it out to more people. I would appreciate it so much, y'all. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, I'm 19.
If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump. Hey, do you mind if I start off with like a question for you? Like, I'm not
For
against
sure.
you
Let
at
me
all.
let me just clarify your birth year real quick. What's your birth year?
Yeah, my birth, 2006. I'm October 25th.
Okay, for sure. Go ahead, ask your question.
Yeah, no problem. So I see a lot of things like, for example, like I see a lot of things on TikTok, and I know TikTok is, very, very good basis of a democratic, like y'all's party. But I see a lot of things like, I saw something that Trump, some dude said Trump was unwell. It was actually like I forgot who it was, but it was something to do. It had to do with Biden's presidency, and I think it was like Biden's guy that like watches health, and he said that Trump looks unwell. And then I saw like a bunch of people in the comments, they were all saying, like they were wishing Trump to die and that type of thing, which I don't really appreciate. But what do you think about that? Like, I'm guessing you don't agree with that, but what would you say to those types of people?
Well, I don't believe in the death penalty. I believe he should be impeached and locked up.
Okay. So what is the reason for you thinking that he should be locked up?
Yeah, well, I mean, I believe that he raped Eugene Carroll. there's 26 plus people that have accused him of sexual misconduct. I think that meets the standard. I think he violated the law when trying to undermine the 2020 election. I think that he's called for the execution of some Democrats because they said that people should follow the law and not abide by unlawful orders. I mean, have you seen the Epstein files didn't even get released today? They're violating the law, not releasing the Epstein files, and redacted practically everything they did release. I mean,
Okay, no,
how can you look at that and be like, yeah, you know what? Don't hold the guy accountable.
Okay. Yeah. So let me explain to you my current situation. I'm not. I wouldn't. Okay, so I don't really. I would say I'm Republican. I wouldn't say I'm MAGA because I don't really think that there's too much of a difference. I understand at the originally, really at the beginning of Trump's presidency, this term, it was kind of divided amongst Republican and MAGA. But now I don't think it's as much as like that. But if you think someone's MAGA, I'm not MAGA. I'm Republican. I think that, for example, I hope that Joe Biden, I hope his cancer goes away completely. You know, I don't wish any harm upon anybody. And I watch your live because I like your views, even though I don't agree with all of them.
You should be Republican and just not support Trump anymore, and just
Well, I
say
wouldn't
that
say I
you would
don't
prefer
support
like
Trump.
Harris
Okay,
over
so here's
Trump.
let me talk about. Do you mind talking about E. Jean Carroll?
Yeah, we can. I mean, would you prefer Trump over Harris though? Still,
I didn't really get into politics until like this last couple months, to be honed. So
yeah,
I
like
didn't
with the
even vote.
information right now, would you still like if the election was held today? Who would you vote for, Trump or Harris?
I probably wouldn't vote, to be honest.
Okay.
But
Well, I think that we did get to the point of the live is to get you to not support Donald Trump. Of course, I'd love to convince you further wise to like get you to support
I mean,
Democrats.
I wouldn't say I
but
don't support him, but I
You said
also
you
wouldn't
wouldn't
say
vote for him.
okay. So let me. I don't agree with the way that, like, for example, who was it? The movie star that their son murdered
Rob
them? Yes. I don't agree with the way that Trump talked about him. I don't think, like, the dude just died. Like, he shouldn't have said that. However, I do think the dude was a little weird and said some things that he definitely should have said about Trump online, but I don't think that allows Trump to be able to say the things that he said either. So it's just things like that where sometimes I agree with the way that Trump talks, but not. All right, let me rearrange that. Some things that Trump sees, but I don't agree with the way he says it, if that makes sense. Okay, so with E. Jean Carroll, didn't he? So it wasn't he? Let me ask you this: why wasn't he held up in criminal court, and why was it in civil?
So because of statute of limitations, because there's a certain amount of years after the event occurred that where you
Yeah, it was
can't
5,
try
right,
it in a
for New
criminal
York?
court regardless of the amount of evidence. I don't think statute of limitations should exist for rape cases. I think it's ridiculous.
Okay. Wasn't it for sexual assault, not rape necessarily?
I think forceful penetration of a woman's vagina against her will is rape, and it's
Okay.
legally defined as that now. At the time, it wasn't legally defined that way unless it was a male member used for sure. And there was a connotation of whether or not it was genitals used.
Okay. Another thing is wasn't she very? I don't know what. I don't know. I know that she was unsure of something, but I don't know what it was necessarily. Was it the year, the place, or like the month or the day
That she didn't know
when it
what?
happened? That she didn't know when it happened. I've heard things about that.
No, so it was between 1985 to 1996. It was in Bergdorf Goodman. She claimed all these particular details. Trump is the one who lied about the details, right? He said they never met. There was a picture of them shown together. And then he said he wouldn't have sexually abused Eugene Carroll because she's quote unquote not his type. But then in a deposition, mistook her with his ex-wife, indicating that they're both his type or both not his type. So he would have sexually abused her either way.
Okay. Let me ask you this: do you think that she should have remembered the date? Wouldn't you remember something like that? I would. I would remember something exactly.
Oh,
the
I
day it
know
happened.
many victims in my life that don't remember the specific day. I don't think that
Okay.
means it didn't happen to them. I think that's like very common with trauma to not remember a specific day.
All right. Okay. That's all I really wanted to talk about. If there's anything else you'd like to ask me, I'll be open to it.
Okay, yeah. You already said that you wouldn't vote for Donald Trump, correct?
Yeah, I said I wouldn't vote for either, so I'm not going to vote for Harris because I actually, to be honest with you, I don't know much about Harris. I've been really getting politics in the last couple months.
Here's what I would say:
Um,
do research, watch these lives,
yep.
critically think, get involved, and it might change your mind.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate you coming up.
I appreciate it. Yep. Thank
Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Let's get the next person up here. If you're on YouTube, do hit that thumbs up, everyone. Let's try to get to 1,000 likes, everyone, as of right now. 1,500, I would really appreciate it, because we are doing a shorter live today. I will be on earlier tomorrow, probably like earlier than I was today. That's what I mean. But like probably around like 5 p.m. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
You said what?
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 18.
Do you support Donald Trump?
No, but I didn't want to say that.
I'm sorry. I am going to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed in the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Yo, what's up? How old are you? Alrighty, let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed in the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Please, everyone, only send a guest request if you do meet that set of criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Again, everyone, we are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 30.
Do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah.
If you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Definitely Trump.
Why so? Why do you support Trump?
Oh man, because I don't support Harris.
Why not?
Why would I? I mean, what's there to support with Harris?
Okay, so I'm asking why you don't, and then I can go into the reasons why I think you should. I just want to hear the reasons why.
I think
You
they are
think that?
both terrible picks, honestly. But Trump, I think, was the better decision. I didn't vote, but if I were to vote, if I had to vote, if my life was on the line. I'd
No,
have
if
to-
you could right now, would you vote? Not if your life is on the line, just like
over Harris, yes. Over Harris, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then, like, why? Like, what's the specific reason? You just said because you think Trump is preferable. Okay. Why?
I think he's pro-America. I mean, that's what his campaign was largely based off of.
Okay. In what way is he pro-America?
I think I don't know, he's more traditional American values, I'd say.
Okay. What traditional American values does he uphold? When you swipe out of the app, I can't hear you, by the way. You have to see me in order for me to be able to hear you.
Okay.
What traditional American values does Donald Trump uphold?
I don't know. I think I think they're both just terrible picks, honestly.
Okay.
You know, I think this two-party system is extremely flawed, and you know, if I had to vote today, it would be Donald Trump.
Yeah, but like you're not giving a specific like value, traditional American value that he upholds. Is it our rule of law, our democracy, our constitution? Like what is it? Because I would say that like those are
No,
core
that's
American
helpful.
values, traditional American values that he actually undermines.
Yeah, no, that's actually very helpful. I think freedom of speech, for one. We can start there.
Okay.
Freedom of speech. You think he's more pro freedom of speech than Kamala?
I think he's more anti-freedom of speech.
How so? How's he
Yeah,
more
he passed an
anti-freedom of speech?
executive order to put people in prison for a year for burning the American flag. He actively wants to violate people's First Amendment rights. Also, we can reference in terms of freedom of religion. He's called for a complete and total shutdown of Muslims entering the country. That's a violation of the First Amendment and freedom of religion.
Mm.
He's also literally detained Mahmoud Khalil, who said free Palestine, for over 100 days without due process.
But that was only for saying free Palestine?
Yeah, for literally his particular perspectives.
Okay, now let's look at the, converse, right? It's with Kamala. If Kamala were to be elected, what would have happened,
Yeah,
right?
name
If
one
we
law that
logically
she
think,
would pass to restrict your speech.
I mean, that's something we can't really say for a fact, but
Any policy she
I
supported?
mean, just based off of her being on the left and just in that specific time, right? Um, you know, there was just like a big, almost like freedom of speech was becoming obsolete, right? You had
Uh,
more censorship, obviously, through, um, you
Donald
know,
Trump
I don't
called
know.
Marjorie Taylor Greene Marjorie Trader Greene because she wanted the Epstein files to be released, and he was calling them a hoax from the Democrats. And so that, I think that's canceling her, right? If you care about it from that respect. I think that Trump's flipped the script on that. He's the one against free speech and against the First Amendment. Democrats aren't even
Okay, but we could
advocating against
also
it at
we could,
all.
but can we not say that Kamala is against freedom of speech, or in some or some have
I don't think
some
she is at
sort
all.
of censorship? Would I mean you don't think so?
Yeah, but what censorship was she advocating for?
What about all the shit that was going on with Facebook during the pandemic? And
Yeah,
you
they
know,
have they
it's
reserve
funny
the
how
right
these
to give
companies
them their position and to say that, oh, this is what we think you should do. Now there was no legal
and
enforcement
pandering to the
mechanism.
left, right? So they were pandering to the left during the whole
No, not
Biden
to the left, to the
administration, right?
doctors, to the doctors,
To these kind of to these
to the
left
medical
policies
professionals,
and
to the
agendas,
scientists.
right?
No, to the scientists, to
Right,
the
but
intellectuals, the experts.
for the pro, well, I mean, there's a lot of debate right there, man. You have to kind of admit that there's a lot of room for debate
No, I don't think there is. When we're
when
talking
it
about the
comes to what
effectiveness of vaccinations, like especially the COVID vaccine, there's so much evidence indicating that's effective. You can look at the bibliography in my bio. There's 30 plus pages of peer-reviewed sources, up and down pages, that you can look at. I'm serious. Like you'd have to deny science.
Okay,
Try.
well, is there no room to debate vaccinations and mandating vaccinations?
Well, if you're talking about mandating is a separate conversation. That there's a debate for
Well, but
that, sure.
that's what was going on during that time period, and
Yeah.
um,
Uh, And I mean,
that
I
was
think
really
that. Are you
that was
pro-life?
really upheld through the Biden administration,
Are you pro-life?
if I remember correctly.
That's it. It's not a violation of your First Amendment, though. By the way.
But it is a violation of my human rights, right? If
Um,
I'm if it,
like, do you
I
think
mean
that
I was
do you think that there should be vaccine mandates for like the measles for school systems for public
do
schools?
I think that we should
Measles,
mandate
polio
vaccinations
vaccine
for
for
measles?
school systems, yeah, so that children don't get polio
Uh,
and measles.
well, the thing is, I mean, with that is the American people, not just the American people, but the people around the world, man, even in very left-leaning European countries, right? That they're against vaccination. You would know more about this than I do,
I don't
probably,
know what
right?
countries you're referencing. I think I'm pro vaccination for obviously when there's scientific
I'm
evidence to indicate
pro-vaccination
that
as
they're
well. I
effective.
mean,
So then
to some regard.
here in this scenario, listen to this. So, do you think that for public schools we should have vaccine mandates for for going to public school, right? For polio and for measles, just to give two. There's even more than that, by the way.
Well, I mean, if there is truly no downside, right? The thing is with the
Who
American
determines
with
whether?
the
Wait, I'm sorry. Who determines the risk benefit analysis? Is it us or would it be doctors and scientists?
it'd be a select group of doctors and scientists.
Exactly.
A select group, right? Does that mean that every doctor or scientist agrees with that statement you
Well,
just made?
if there's a consensus, right, then obviously we're going to accept the overwhelming consensus over the very few.
Can consensus be corrupted or can it be influenced wrongly? Could it be
but
right?
it's most likely to be accurate. It's like very good evidence pointing towards the fact that it's true. But sure, there could be a
I think
circumstance where there's
vaccinations are a good
consensus
thing,
where they're wrong.
honestly.
But like, I mean, I think that what's going to disprove them is consensus in the future in science.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against vaccinations completely, but I'm against
But what
mandating
about the
people and telling people, hey,
okay? But
you gotta
answer
vaccinate
my
or
question then. Mandates for measles and for polio for public schools. Do you agree with those mandates existing?
not necessarily. I mean, I don't have
Oh, so
enough
you disagree with it, by the
knowledge
way.
to
Those are the
even.
basis for us being able to mitigate and reduce polio and measles in this country from degrees in which we're extraordinarily high. I think this is something that we've become too accustomed to because of the fact that we've been living in a society with vaccinations to the degree that we've had, where we don't understand the implications of children getting these particular types of illnesses because of how common it is to be vaccinated because of these vaccine mandates, which has ensured the safety for health for our children. That's incredibly important. We've practically eradicated these comparative to historically what it's existed, and you're essentially advocating for a resurgence of it because the inevitable reality will be that that happens. And that's
You
why
have to give
vaccine
people the
mandates
freedom of
are
choice,
so
and
important.
I think the
Now, you
point,
could say freedom of choice, but you
um,
have the freedom of choice not to go to public school. If you're going to go
right.
towards a public area, you are absolutely going to need this unless there's a medical reason why not. Otherwise, you are risking the threat of the safety and security of the other children that are just trying to go to school.
Why are babies mandated to have over fucking 10, 20 fucking vaccinations by the
The
time they're six
doctors
months?
have identified that it's
Back to
better.
back to back fucking vaccinations on a fucking child,
It's better.
on a
I
baby,
got
newborn
vaccinated.
infant.
Do you vaccinate your kids?
I mean, I got a lot of vaccinations. Yeah,
Yeah. So then
I was vaccinated.
what's the problem?
What are the experts saying that are against vaccinations? I mean, you should know this, right? You're not just one sided. You have to know both sides of the argument. You should know better than me, bro. So, what are the experts saying? Why are people nowadays more against vaccinations than ever before? Why?
Because of misinformation, because of
But
misunderstandings, because of distrust of government and
do
science.
people do kids get autism
The Dunning
and
Kruger
develop
effect.
weird side effects due to these vaccinations?
No,
Or
no.
is that a thing? Is
Vaccines,
that a thing? Or is
vaccines,
that's a
no,
misconception as
vaccines.
well?
Yeah, yeah, it's misinformation. Vaccines don't cause autism. I have a study in my bibliography in my bio that actually proves it doesn't. Right? If you'd actually like to look
I'll
at the
look at it.
research,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, it absolutely does not cause autism.
So that's a complete
Myth. Yeah,
fabrication. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
So RFK, let's talk about RFK, man. How
Yeah,
you
go
feel about
ahead.
RFK? I'm honestly, if I had to
I
vote for
think he's a
anybody,
lunatic.
I, I would have voted for RFK personally.
Yeah,
I think
and I
he's
think he's a
seems
lunatic.
genuine. With Kamala, she has that. She just seems like another fucking politician, another fucking politician. Like that has not the people's best interest at heart.
And you think Donald
I
Trump
mean,
has
that's
your
my
best
point of
interests at
view.
heart? I'm sorry.
I don't
If
think
you
Donald
believe
Trump.
that Donald Trump has your best
I think
interests
he's
at
another
heart,
politician. I think he's
okay.
another politician.
So then why do you pick Donald Trump because of that reason if it's going to be applicable to both sides? Wouldn't it just equate out to zero?
I mean, if you had to pick the lesser of two evils, I mean, I guess I would have.
But if they both have the quality, this isn't indicative of one being worse than the other. It's indicative of them being equal.
Honestly, the left seemed far more, cause for concern. I don't know. I mean, that's
Such
just my
as?
point of view.
Such as?
Such
What are you
as,
referencing?
well, freedom of speech for one.
Again, I already
Right to
gave you
bear
arguments to
arms.
indicate otherwise.
Right to bear arms.
Donald Trump has
Can
undermined
we
that
can we
too.
talk about right to bear arms?
Yeah, we can. Donald Trump has
So
undermined that as
then,
well.
do you think that he undermined that as well?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How so?
He's in support of red flag laws. He said take the guns first, do due process second. He's actively done a bump stock ban that was determined to be unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. You can't mention any gun control policy Democrats support that's in violation of the Second Amendment.
Okay, who you think Kamala would have a better stance on right to bear arms, giving the American people the right to bear arms, as the founding fathers have wanted for us.
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable position. I think gun control is reasonable too.
I think gun control is reasonable, but I think when it comes to the left and far leaning liberals, right? They kind of take it to crazy lengths.
Like such as what? Like be specific. Like what was she advocating for that was too far? That you're willing to vote for like RFK in Trump
Why scoff at RFK though?
because
He
he's a
seems like a
lunatic.
decent person. How's he a lunatic? Why is he a
Well,
lunatic?
because he's trying to spread misinformation, saying that
I mean,
Tylenol during pregnancy causes autism, when literally studies in Sweden have indicated absolutely no association between Tylenol usage during pregnancy and autism after taking into account genetics and genetics specifically in siblings. He's also spread lies about the vaccine, saying that like it's literally causing autism as well. We can also point to the fact that what's it called? Oh my God, there's a million things. Holy shit. We could talk about him decapitating a bear and then taking it out to Central Park.
he decapitated the bear. What?
And then took it into Central Park, yeah, and left the body there.
Okay. I mean, wouldn't the best thing to do, man, is to advocate against this two-party system? To get
What
more
is? I
independent
mean, I mean,
politicians. I'm not a politician, bro. I didn't even grow up,
here
you
we
know.
got to support policies on both sides of the aisle that are in support of again increasing the amount of parties that we have in terms of proportional voting. Now, there's also issues to think about in terms of that, like then someone can have 30%, 40% of the vote specifically, and they can get elected, which kind of, can also make extremism worse off. So there are conditions to think about on both sides. Why don't we work with, there's also an argument to say work within the two-party system, specifically as it exists right now, to try and change the parties to operate more in accordance with our values. Because when we don't get involved and we say that politics has disaffected us, therefore we're not going to engage with them, it only allows for politics to disaffect even more people, instead of us getting involved and continuing to get involved in resupporting a culture in which literally everyone does the same thing. Because when we specifically look at it in a context as like we can't do so just by ourselves, well then we and everyone else think the same thing, and it justifies hundreds of thousands, millions of people thinking the same way and doing the same way when they could have done otherwise.
But why are we choosing one side, bro? Why are we choosing one side over the other, and why are we
Because we're
stuck in this
reasonable
little
people.
game?
We're reasonable
Right? I
people.
mean,
We
look,
pick the truth
don't you
over
believe
what's
in
false.
wait. Don't you believe in um what's it called? What do you guys call it?
Do you pick what's right
A
over what's
crep.
wrong?
Of course.
Why do you pick a side?
Because it's right. But then that's I mean,
That's exactly what I would say to the last question you just asked.
you think Kamala has no flaw? You think she's the
She
better choice?
absolutely, I think she
You think
absolutely has things I disagree with her on.
as in what?
Yeah, like I disagree with the Democrats' stance on Israel. That's an example.
Her stance on Israel?
Yeah.
Do you think Trump is the better? He has the better voice as far as when it comes to you know things with other countries, right? Being a
Hell
leader.
no.
You don't think so?
Hell
You
no.
don't think? How are people looking at Biden? People were looking at Biden obviously like he was
With
weak,
more
right?
respect than Trump. The
Um,
studies indicate that too.
what studies indicate
Yeah,
that,
like you
man?
can look at Pew
And
Research.
who backed these studies? Who backed these
Pew
studies?
Research.
Who funds these studies?
Who funds the Pew? I. That's like people who donate, like just random people. Like Pew Research gets donations from like random
Random
people.
people.
They're like independent. I don't know if they have any other fund. I don't know the specific funders, but they're generally known as like an independent source with verified information. It's one of like the best resources for finding that type of information.
how do you sift through what is right and what is wrong? What's the truth and what is false nowadays, especially with the age of information, right? All that comes with
You
you
go to
know.
people that know what they're talking about. You see what they're
How do you
saying.
know they know what they're talking about? Especially if you don't know what you're talking about. If you don't even
Expertise.
have a basic understanding
Expertise.
of these things.
Yeah, and that's why you should rely on the experts to a greater extent. Like when your tire goes flat, or something happens to your car, where it's hurt, you go to someone that specializes in that, right? Someone who is a expert in that field, right?
Yeah, but
We
I
do this all
mean,
the time, so why
you go
wouldn't
to
we
the
do the same
mechanics,
thing here?
right? You go to the mechanics, right?
Yeah.
And mechanics have a bad reputation, right? Right? You go to the to get your car looked at,
That
and
doesn't change the reality that like of the idea that it's reasonable to go to someone that has a specialization within it. Just because you've had bad experiences with mechanics in some circumstances is not representative of, the point being irrelevant or unreasonable, because again, it was just demonstrating that you go to people who have a specialization. If you break your leg, are you going to go to the doctor? You're going to go to the hospital?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, you're not going to just raw dog it alone, right? Of course. So obviously, you're going to go to people who have specializations in the particular field to address the condition that you're in. Got
Okay.
anything
Why?
else?
Why? So yeah, I mean, what are things about the Republican Party that you might agree with? Because when I hear you guys speak, Parker, Dean, all you guys, I like you guys. Honestly, I do. I think you guys are very entertaining and engaging and very educational. But at the same time, it seems like it's very one sided, right? And it's just like you sometimes don't hear the other
Yeah,
side,
I mean, you
right?
could say the same thing about yourself.
And
You,
look,
you like doing what's
and
right over what's wrong. You're pretty one-sided. You don't like doing what's wrong, right? You're pretty
what's the
one-sided,
trade off? And
man.
that's life, right? I mean,
Oh, that's exactly
you
what I
know,
would say is that like I've come to an understanding of politics where I see enough reason to take a position, and just because I take a position isn't wrong or bad or meaning I'm only one-sided. I can understand and be open-minded while simultaneously being like strong in my convictions.
what's your vision for America? Like, so, I mean, you obviously have a, you know, large influence, a large audience, a large following. What's your vision for these next 5, 10 years? I mean, for yourself, I mean, and for the country as a whole.
I don't want people to have lack of access to healthcare. I think everyone should have universal access to healthcare and a public option. I don't think that people should
It's
have lack of
crazy, man. Like,
access.
look at your audience, bro. Like, look at these clowns, man. Like, these all they do is they're no better than these fucking Nick Fuentes followers or whoever the fuck. No, they're
There's,
not, bro. You
why
looking
do
at
you
me
think
crazy,
that?
man?
I think you're crazy for saying
No,
that. Yeah.
no, but it's not crazy because they do what everyone else does. They point fingers, they judge, they're quick to talk shit, say nothing but bad things. Do you know that's true? If you look at the shit, that's what it is. I mean, you know,
Okay. By the way,
that's just a
by the
fact.
way, being quick to judge, point fingers, or even to talk shit doesn't necessarily indicate that they're doing something wrong, right? In this context, right? Like
Why
genuinely,
doesn't
there
it?
there are
Especially if
when
you're
we're on a live listen, when we're on a live debating people specifically who are Trump supporters and they have the views that they have right now, specifically where again the president of the United States has called for the execution of some Democrats because they said to follow the law and to not follow unlawful orders, among many other things that are extremist views. These are extremist views. We're judging and pointing fingers and talking shit because genuinely people come up here, they're not productive, they're not open-minded, they don't want to change their mind, and they're supporting policies in which harm people in this country to degrees in which is unfathomable to themselves at the point in which you're having a conversation with them. That's why. You're not understanding where people are coming from because you're not seeing the perspective in which they are trying to outline here. That literally MAGA has become so extreme that it's dividing us to a degree where we can't even come together and
you
have
guys are
conversation and be like that anymore, where
MAGA,
people don't feel like they can
MAGA,
anymore.
MAGA and the left, bro, they're basically mirrors, yin and
No, they're
fucking
not. It's
yang. They
ridiculous
do the
for us to
same
say that.
shit to each
It's for
other.
it is so ridiculous for us to
It
continue
is,
both
bro.
sides in this when it's nowhere
Yeah.
near as prevalent on the
The people
Democratic
that
side
are
as it is
most
the Republican
correct are
side.
the people closer to the middle, bro. That's what it is. People
Yeah, there are a lot of people
arguing blue or
in the
red
middle,
when it's
but
more
if they were
purple.
actually in the middle, they would not be near Donald Trump because he's heavily extremist. They've been propagandized into believing that Donald Trump is somehow the moderate candidate and Kamala Harris is extreme when it's literally the other way around. They're living in an alternate timeline.
You think Kamala's moderate?
Yes, absolutely. What?
Okay. I mean, she might be. I don't know. I mean, she might be. I don't know.
Like,
But
there's okay. I
there's
can
a point for what
understand how
I'm
this could
saying,
be
man.
confusing. I think she's one of the most progressive candidates, probably the most progressive candidate that's run for office. But that doesn't mean that she's not moderate. Does that make sense? Like, I would say I'm further left than Kamala Harris, and I'm still like a liberal. I still believe in capitalism, but I'm definitely further left than Kamala Harris on a lot of things, and yet, like, again, my view is reasonable, right?
I think so. I mean, large
That people should have
for a
health
large
care,
part.
people
Yeah.
should have child care. I want people to be educated. I want to have a lot of social mobility within our society, and everyone's needs are taken care of. That's my goal for an economy, and then I want to invest what we can on top of that into like technology to make people's lives better instead of dumb shit all the time. Like we spend on massive tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires. We should be taking that money, putting it into
Hmm.
scientific investment, which benefits the population. Everyone has a better and higher
I
quality of
agree.
life due to scientific investment and research and development, especially with cancer research, NASA funding, things that Donald Trump is cutting. If anything, we should be increasing the budgets of these programs, not decreasing them.
Okay, so this kind of just brings to mind the whole Doge shit with Elon Musk and government waste and government fraud, right? That supposedly they found all this government fraud and waste um, that was happening under the Biden administration. What do you have to say about that?
Elon
Is
Musk
it fabrication?
like has said himself that he got like very little amounts and he didn't think that he actually was able to do anything, and they've been canceled in terms of Doge. And then the Biden Harris administration didn't pass any of the quote unquote waste that you're particularly referencing. Tell me what you think waste the Biden Harris administration passed in terms of a policy.
I'm only bringing up, what was kind of was a talk as a talking point, that you see on X, or that that was out in the um, throughout social media in the news, right? I'm not. I don't have any specific references for you.
Well, like here's
I
my
mean, but
point:
there's.
is
I
that
mean,
you're gonna hear a lot of claims in in like the social media. People claim a bunch of crazy shit. You have to be able to decipher as an adult between the information in which makes sense and doesn't make sense. You got to critically think about this. You got to say, does this make sense for this to be true, instead of just blindly accepting it, and then compare your view to others. This is why I do these debates. It's important to compare your view to others to make sure that you're thinking your view through and you
let
can
me.
explain it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
also more likely to be able to convince people, change people, move people to your
Let
side
me ask you.
if you
Let
have
me
the
ask you
ability to
another
do that as
question.
well.
No, I agree. I agree. Do you think there's a better, more ideal candidate out there than a Kamala, than a Trump? Obviously, than a Trump. You're
Yes.
going to say obviously with
Yes,
a
of
Trump,
course. I
but with a
like
Kamala,
progressives more.
there's a more ideal candidate, a better
Yes.
representative for the American people, not just for the American people, but
Yes,
for the
I
world,
never said that
right?
Kamala
Is
Harris
there?
was perfect
So then, why are we buying into this? You know, Kamala or Trump? You know,
because
what
that's
what
the
are we doing?
reality of the choice that we had. We can't just live in la la land
So
and
you
act
think it's
like that's
always going
not
to be like
true.
this? You know,
I mean, do you have an alternative
who
otherwise?
was who
What do we
was
do?
do- who would you rather have in office? Not, I'm not saying between Kamala and Trump, but just in general, people out there. I
AOC.
mean, is there anybody that you would advocate for?
I like AOC.
AOC?
Hmm.
Just her?
Well, like you just asked for an example.
I mean, that's the only person that comes to mind for you.
Yeah, the only person, definitely. Yeah, no. I mean, we have a bunch of other candidates I can talk about, but I mean, how many do you want me to say?
I mean, no, I was just asking. Okay.
I
All
was
right.
just curious.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, man. That's where a lot of American people are, right? I mean, we're stuck between, you know, a rock and a hard place, and I think Kamala is not a good choice. Honestly, I just don't think she is. You know,
Well, like you couldn't give any reason as to why you think she's not a good choice. Like I asked you what traditional American values. The one you brought up in terms of free speech isn't even a traditional American value that's upheld by Donald Trump to a greater extent. It's actually undermined by Donald Trump to a greater extent. So we could go back to the very
I
point you
think
said
he did a
pro-America
lot
and
for
traditional American
freedom of
values. I
speech.
think that Kamala Harris is
Maybe
definitely more pro-America and traditional American
inadvertently, I
values
think he
based on
did.
this respect because of democracy, rule of law, Constitution. Donald Trump called for a termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. Donald Trump is undermining the independent nature of our federal government, right? And he's literally trying to get loyalists. He's prioritizing loyalism over people who actually are qualified to do the job.
Loyalism, how so?
Yeah, he quite literally is going after people for the courts, for federal government positions under this administration, right, that are loyal to him over the ones that are qualified to do the job. If you think that the people in the Trump administration right now are the most qualified to do the job, you're obviously misled, right? They are definitely not. He's specifically gone after people within the federal government that disagree with him and don't agree with his particular perspectives, independents within the federal government, to actively increase his control over areas in the government, right? Because he has loyalists there. And this is something that exactly JD Vance told him to do. JD Vance told him to do this before when running. And we try to tell people about this, about how much that's a threat to our systems, that Donald Trump's going to do this. And what does he do once he gets into office? That exact thing. And it's like we're sitting here telling people this is literally something that Donald Trump and JD Vance have talked about, brought up, and it's going to happen, and it ends up happening. And then yet the right still doesn't address it. They move on to the next thing. They're distracted by the next, trillion horrible things that Donald Trump did, million things that are happening all the time. Was this like normal politics to you? Like, do you feel like it's this insane? They've been breaking the law, not releasing the Epstein files today.
Well, I think politics in general, as we know it, probably for I don't know how many decades, is insane. It's been insane. I think we're living in a very corrupt system. What is this shit that people say about white people? Like, what do they say? You know what I'm talking about? Like, what the fuck is it? It's too fucking late over here. I was listening to you and fucking that first fucking speaker for the longest, man. Damn it, what is it called? Can't even think right now. Hey, but look, check this out, man. It's you're talking to an average person, bro. Like the average American is misinformed, right? And that's not something to
Yeah.
like scoff at or not something to belittle, right? It's
Depends
really
on the
not.
context.
And that's on both sides. I think a lot of people are misinformed. You
It,
spent
it depends
hours
on the
upon hours
context.
upon hours upon, becoming as astute as you are in
Yeah.
this respective
And you want to know something
field.
crazy? If I had a conversation with myself, I would respond the same way. If I could go back and talk to myself back then, I would respond the same way. And I still think that the way that I engaged is still conducive towards changing minds. Some people might not like the way that I act in all circumstances. I'm not perfect. I understand that, but
Yeah,
I don't think that detracts away from the points that I'm making.
yeah, but that's just comes with the internet, right? Comes with media. That's what the news does, right? All this, like
Do you think there's typically
misreading
platforms like
shit,
this where
jumping to conclusions,
do you think there's typically
finding
platforms like this where people
fingers,
just talk
always
to
judging.
the average person about a particular topic and they do this all the time and they get super involved in it? Like I feel like these spaces don't exist a lot. And if anything, like the spaces that exist on the internet, it's like people talking to like other big figureheads. And like that's not representative of the average American, right? Just referencing people who are figureheads. So I also think it's important to have these types of conversations because the average person, again, yes, they are misinformed. They don't know the same things that specifically all the talking heads are specifically referencing. they've heard a different story, a different narrative. So it's obviously important to engage with all these different views at different levels.
Right, but what I see, I mean, it's the same criticism that Charlie Kirk would get, right, for going on campus, talking with uneducated fucking college kids who are trying to figure shit out, right? He'll get all this backlash. Oh, you're talking to all these uneducated fucking kids. You think you're so smart, but that's the same thing you're doing, um, and your viewers are doing the same thing that the Charlie Kirk, fanboys were doing.
Do you want me to give you a relevant difference? We have
What's the
longer
relevant difference?
conversations. We have anyone can come up. It's online, accessible to anyone. It's open every single day. We have conversations all the time. Anyone can come up, whether or not they're educated or not. It's not just like specifically college kids. I wouldn't have an issue with going and talking to college students, especially at my age. But like,
I'll
I
tell
think
you,
the point is not that he would just talk to college students. It's that he would primarily only look to talk to college students. He even went on a podcast, on the George Jenko podcast, and talked about how he was caught off guard by Jubilee because there were professional TikTok debaters with an economics degree.
Mhm. Yeah.
Even though I was literally like just graduated from college in a bachelor's, like.
Yeah, I mean, I
He
guess the
said
point is,
he said like you would think of when you think of like the title, a meandering college student that really doesn't know what they're talking about. Like, he literally said that. He said it out loud. So I think it's mainly the intention there. Like, my intention to come on here is not specifically to only get people who are uneducated, right? I'll talk to anyone, and I would hope that people who like are very educated specifically on these matters would come up and have a conversation. I just think people who tend to be very educated on these matters tend to fall against Trump.
I mean, it's easy to pick on Trump, man. I mean, he has a history of being overly provocative and
Sure.
sensational. I mean, he does things just to get a rise out of people, and he does things, you know, as a fucking
It goes further than
jokester or
that.
comedian,
It
right?
goes further than that. He's an active predator. He's actively engaging in death threats from the Oval Office towards his political opponents. He's a threat to our country. And like, I think that the Republican Party from in of itself needs to hold their fucking people accountable and never let people like that be the head of your party. Like, genuinely, like, what the fuck are you guys
But
doing?
don't you think he's only a result of, just the past presidents, Democrats, right? I mean, that's what it seems like to me. People got fed up, so they chose this motherfucker, man. I wasn't even a Trump supporter when he first came out. I was completely against Trump.
I don't dispute the idea that people are fed up that they're willing to like risk and bet on something, but I also think it's because a lot of people are misinformed. He's a con man, right? And that's a
People
result
liked
of a
him
society
because
that
he
hasn't.
didn't.
What's that?
People liked the man because he doesn't appear as a regular politician, right? He's a motherfucker that just
He's
speaks his
everything
mind
in which a
at all
politician
times.
embodies, if not worse. Right? Like in every single way. Like and not if not worse. It's worse in every quality. Like, he's more corrupt, right? He lies more. He's more manipulator. He doesn't uphold what he said he's gonna do. Like, dude, I mean, tell
That
me,
goes for
like,
every
what do
fucking
you hate
president,
about
bro.
politicians? What do people typically hate about politicians? I promise you, it's worse with Trump.
Yeah, now a lot of this shit is coming to light, right? I mean, you could say that
It's coming to
people
light.
didn't
He
really know he was a
redacted
predator like
practically
that.
everything. They're breaking the law and not releasing it. Trump called it a hoax. Trump called Marjorie Trader Green, because she said to release the Epstein files, and literally canceled her because of one
Yeah,
move. That's like specifically, obviously, him looking for like insane loyalism.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's getting harder by the day to support Trump. Honestly,
You
you know.
should already be at a point where you don't support him if you know all this information. Is kind of like my point. Is that like at
Okay,
what point will you
okay,
be willing to draw the line? That's why to me, honestly, I
yeah.
was I was like, why are so there was a lot of people that were like, calling out Trump for how he spoke out against Rob Reiner, and I think that they should. But I'm like, why are Republicans responding this way, but in this circumstance, but not when Trump called for the execution of some Democrats? Like, did we just forget he just like engaged in death threats like a few weeks ago on social media? Like, I'm just like, why don't we talk about that? Why don't we have outrage about that more? Why doesn't that hit the point of disqualification? Like, when you're
What death
calling for the
threats?
death of your political opponents, can you imagine if Democrats did that?
Yeah. Now this one of your followers said, "Where's your red line?" I mean, I guess all this shit coming out with him and fucking being a predator, all this his connection with Jeffrey Epstein and all of obviously that's been out there for a long ass time since Epstein was alive. But it's I mean, the American people, man, they don't know what to believe in. People are undereducated, man. People are overworked. People don't have enough time. Or this is a valid excuse. It could still be an excuse, but it's a valid excuse that people don't have time because people are working 40 plus hours to make ends meet. Barely make it by, and they got kids to
If
raise.
I mean, if you're
This
on
is the
TikTok
problem.
watching this right now, you have the ability to.
Yeah, that's why I'm on here. That's why I
Yeah,
tune into
that's
you.
kind of
That's why
like
I tune
kind
into
of my point. I'm
the
trying to make it
being.
more accessible.
It's it's not being lazy. People are saying in the comments that it's lazy. If you have kids, it's then right? If you don't have kids, then it's easy to do. I mean, I don't have as much free time as I once did to bro, it's a fucking full-time job. I have a full-time job and then I have a full-time job when I get home. Even with my wife, So
Well, like again, the point
well
I'm saying is
that's
that
this is
like
the issue, bro. This is the real issue, and this is what I really want to get through to the people in general, right? Any followers of any influencer, quote unquote, right? Is stop being so quick to judge and quick to point fingers and laugh and scoff because you're doing what the people that you hate do to you. It's just it's silly. It's silly and it's super hypocritical, and I don't think we're ever gonna get anywhere with that type of behavior. It's just like a revolving door. We're always gonna be in this sick cycle.
what's crazy to
You
me
know,
is like the standard you hold Democrats to versus the standard you hold Trump to. Like, it's just
no, I hold
crazy.
everybody
Like,
to that standard.
no,
I
wait,
hope,
no,
but
you don't. You
the
support
question that
Trump.
you started with is if I had to choose between Trump or
If you
Kamala,
did, then like what? Yeah, Kamala Harris doesn't do that. Trump does.
but see with
Like, if that was
Kamala,
something you cared about and you didn't want to be represented more in our society, it's like, what? Why would you have ever supported
I don't
Trump?
do that. I don't go on here and just shit talking everybody and
You
acting like
support a
I'm better
guy
than
that is
everybody.
the fucking guy that shit talks
I
everyone.
support him over Kamala.
Yeah, who
I
doesn't?
guess she doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I think she's a very flawed person.
Yeah, so tell me what flaws you're referencing, because now I just want to know.
Well, she's backed by this almost sick machine, man. You don't think the left is without flaw?
Be specific. I'm
Tell
asking
me,
you
you
what the
you
flaws
you
are.
should
I've
know.
already
You should
told.
be able to you should
Hey,
be
dude,
able to call
I've
out
already
Trump people,
told you
right?
earlier there are things I disagree on. I'm asking you what you consider a flaw. Do you even know?
Do I even know what a flaw is?
No, what you consider a flaw in terms of Harris.
I think that yeah. I mean, it's who she serves at the end of the day. You can use an easy cop out and say it's the people. That's what everyone says. Is it the people? Is it really the people?
Yeah? Well, I'm confused. The
No,
president's supposed to serve the people.
she serves an agenda, right? She has an agenda. I mean,
Agenda for what?
do you think the deep state is real? Let's talk about that. Is the deep state a real thing or is this a conspiracy? Do you think
No.
you
Do
know
you
how many
believe the moon?
conspiracies have
No.
proven true?
I only asked
Do
you
I
a
think the
question.
moon landing was
Yeah.
was real?
Yeah. Do you think
I
it
don't
was real?
fucking know. I don't. I don't know. Okay, but look. But
This
you
is
could
scientifically
look at me that way.
verifiable. We literally have the ability to verify because we left things on the moon that are super reflective. And
If
you
I
can
had
literally from
to,
the
if I
Earth do
had to
that.
give an answer,
Like,
if I had to give an absolute answer, right, yes or no, without any nuance or anything, then I would say I think of course with the technology we have, why can't we make it to the moon, right? That's my
okay,
assessment, right?
okay. So you do believe we made it to the
But
moon?
but but with that being said, how many conspiracies are now being proven true?
Which
Are
conspiracies do you believe in?
okay? Do you believe in aliens? Is this or is this not?
They probably exist somewhere in the universe, but I don't think that
You're an agnostic atheist, right?
I don't
You
think we
believe
have
that
any
the
evidence
universe
of them
is
on Earth.
so all so it's misinformation when they're coming out and saying, you know, so all this shit that I've seen recently on social media, you know, about them declassifying that aliens have actually made contact with Earth. Come on, man. Let's not give that a little smirk, man.
Tell me, when is that being
I li-
declassified?
Is it not? I don't know. I just watched this fucking documentary the other day. It's called Declassification.
Yeah,
I think it was on Prime Video.
yeah, and those are created to capture your attention and to
So
make
strictly that.
use of
But they're supposed to be
use
experts
their
in there.
money.
Ex CIA, ex military, ex this and that, ex experts, right? You like experts, right?
Well, I don't know what
People
experts you're
that are
particularly
in the
referencing.
know, that are in these fucking circles. Aliens is just one fucking is one conspiracy. We could talk
Okay.
about 9/11.
Oh God,
You know, is that an easier one?
Well, I think that that's an absurd one. You shouldn't say that. I think it's really absurd to
9/11?
deny that.
Deny what?
To try and say that it was staged.
To say it's absurd,
Yeah, it is absurd.
right?
There's no evidence. Would you like to provide the evidence?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I mean, you can look it up. You should look into it.
I have.
I mean, we live in a crazy world, right? We're fucking on a fucking floating rock, flying through space, right? Yeah.
That was the most trivial statement ever. Like, no one knew that.
Is it trivial? Is it
Yeah,
trivial?
yeah, dude.
But
Do you think I
it's
don't know
actual
that?
fact, and it of course you know that.
You think I've
But
never heard
it
that
is.
before?
But I mean, the point remains, right? I mean, that is, you know, truth is stranger than fiction, man. I mean, that's. You think shit is just so simple, right?
No, I just
Yeah,
rely
it
on
is.
evidence to believe things.
What about the absence of evidence? If you don't have the evidence, then it's just you disregard it. I mean, that's what you're doing.
Yeah. If I don't have evidence for something, I don't believe it. If I don't have a reason to believe something, I don't believe it. Crazy idea, right? Like, do you believe unicorns exist?
Well, you could be agnostic about it, right? Not really have a belief on it. Whether you know you don't have to choose a side.
True, that's exactly what you
You
would
can
do.
just
Yes.
so that's what you're doing instead of disregarding it.
Well, I disregard certain things because of contradictions. But yeah, I'm agnostic atheist.
Okay.
Do you believe in unicorns?
It's not funny. Do I believe in unicorns? Not necessarily. No,
Okay.
I don't think unicorns are a real thing, but
Well, I believe in them. They're real.
but conspiracy is
Unicorns,
is
they have
real,
to
man.
be
There's
real.
a lot of things
But
that go
I
on
don't
behind our backs.
I don't need any evidence to justify it. I've just heard a lot of people talk about unicorns. I think they're pretty cool. That means they've got to be real.
So you don't think that there's a whole bunch of shit going on behind our back, behind the scenes? You don't think there is a deep state or nefarious actors? There has to be nefarious actors.
I don't believe in a deep state. Can you tell me what a deep state is?
You know,
Did you learn this from Alex
there's
Jones in Infowars?
Alex Jones. You don't like Alex Jones?
No.
He hasn't said anything truthful. Nothing.
Didn't he get sued massively for saying that Sandy Hook was staged? And he lost like everything.
I mean, that's his right to say that Sandy Hook was staged. Do I believe it?
And it was his right to lose a shit ton of money too, right? Do you think the frogs are
But
turning gay too? From water?
nah,
The water's
I
turning
don't think
frogs
so.
gay. You know, yeah, okay.
Huh? But you
So
believe in
you don't
corporatism,
think
right?
he's
You believe how? Okay, so let's go into let's pivot,
Did you
right?
say I believe in corporatism?
I mean, like the evils of corporatism, right?
No, I wouldn't say I believe in corporatism. But like, I mean, it depends on how you define it.
You
I
know what
guess
I'm
if you
saying,
just
though.
define
You know what I'm saying,
corporatism
though,
as
right?
liberalism, then sure.
No, I'm saying like that you know these companies and corporations have their own agendas, right? And they'll do anything to fulfill those agendas, right? To increase their
Yeah,
revenue, increase their
their
profits.
agenda is
Yes.
profit
So
maximizing. Yeah, profit maximizing condition.
exactly, right? So the same happens within government. It's I mean, it's
A
easy to make that
profit
correlation, no?
maximizing condition in government is that they utilize the government. Sure, they could try to, yeah, but that's why you need to have.
Or you know
That's
other
why democracy is so important, to hold the politicians accountable and to get money out of politics and to limit like corporate PACs from, you know, fucking buying our politicians and limit people like Elon Musk from leveraging their fucking Tesla stock in order to influence an election.
I mean, the point I'm saying is that you know there's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know of, right? And a lot of things are coming to light. I mean, we're seeing it, man. With those, with you could say with Trump, with the Epstein, with even fucking people like Diddy, man. Like a lot of shit is coming to light that you know these people in high positions of power and influence, you know, what they've done. And that there's a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy, but it's
Do you think
it's
the
a
Epstein
general
files are
statement.
a hoax?
No, I think the Epstein
Trump doesn't
files.
want your
What do you mean a
support.
hoax?
How do you feel about that? What do you mean? What do you mean hoax? Do you think that they're fake?
What do you? No, I think it was a real thing. I think kids were getting fucking
Wait, so to
trafficked and
clarify,
molested.
Is Trump lying when he said it was a hoax?
Yeah, he must have been
He
lying
was? Why was he lying?
because of this connection with Epstein. Probably. Parker, what, man?
And yet you still support the guy? Hello? You still support him?
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle.
He's
I mean, if I
lying
had
about
to
his
choose,
relationship with Epstein. So he said it was a hoax to try and manipulate you, right? Because he
who
thought
else
you
are
were
we gonna
dumb enough
support?
to
People are
believe
still
him.
saying. People are saying you still support him. You still support him. Who the fuck else are we gonna support, man?
Kamala Harris is a better
We're
candidate.
getting
That's what we're saying.
spoon fed these motherfuckers, bro. We're getting spoon fed this bitch, this other
Don't
dude.
refer to
You
her as
know,
a, don't refer to
not
that
that I'm
way.
not even referring to Kamala. I'm just saying this. Excuse me, man. You know, but that's the truth, man. We're getting played. Everybody knows it. The jig is up.
Okay, so this is
What?
like you got to think critically and realize that one side is better than the other one, and that's the best decision you can make in the meantime. So
No,
it's like
that's definitely not.
you
Why
didn't
are
even do
people?
that calculation correctly. That's kind of like what I'm saying. I was like, I don't know how you
No,
come
we're
to.
falling for the trap, bro. We're falling for the trap, and that's to pick a side, right? Weren't you saying earlier about you don't have to pick a side or some shit? What the fuck were you saying
Yeah,
earlier?
no, I was saying like I would, as a Republican, you don't have to support Donald Trump. That's what I was saying. And also, like I was saying, I would prefer that someone doesn't support anyone over supports Trump. And this live is about getting them to not support Trump. So you can be a Republican and just not support Trump. Did you know that?
Right. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So why are we supporting if we know two people aren't the best candidates? Why are we even why are we still?
Because we know the inevitable reality of our system is 1v1. That's just the reality.
But
Would you like to
can't
change
it
it?
be changed?
Sure.
Why aren't we doing anything? It doesn't seem like the kids nowadays are doing anything like the past generations. You know, it doesn't seem like
You're not very
we're
involved in politics. What do you mean people aren't doing anything?
I'm getting back involved in politics.
Well, I just want to let you know we've
I'm
been
going to educate
involved.
myself.
I've been
I'm going to
involved.
educate myself.
That's
Yes.
great. I hope you do that more, and that's the point I'm saying. Is like I think more people need to do what you're trying to do right now, and get
You
involved.
know,
More people should do what everyone in this live is doing right now. Get involved and educate themselves, and this is a great thing. This is why I
I
do
think
this.
they come on here to stroke their ego and to point fingers. A lot of them. I don't know what the ratio would be, but a lot of them. And then I know you know that, but you're not gonna admit that, obviously, because these motherfuckers give you money all the time.
No,
But that's cool. I
I
mean,
don't think that's the case, and that's irrespective of whether or not I make money.
no, no, no. I respect that you make money. I mean, you should make money. You know, you're providing value.
No, I'm just saying
You're
I
helping
have
a lot
that
of people.
view about my chat, irrespective of the fact that some people in the chat send me money.
Okay, well, I retract that then. I mean, if you took offense to it, but I
Well, I
mean, I
mean,
think
I just don't
that's just
think it's
realistic to
necessarily
think.
applicable. No.
Yeah, I mean that. Are
And
you
by the
gonna?
way,
It,
say that is the case. Even if that was true, that's still a good space for people to be engaging with, so that they can think more critically than most types of contents. Think about most type of content that exists on social media. Like, what is someone gaining from most content on social media? Practically, in
nothing.
a lot of circumstances, nothing. Other than like it's entertaining or something like that, right?
Brain rot, just to pass the time, and because they're fucking lonely, and because
Yeah. So it's like
they're depressed, and
this is
because
like a situation
they
where
don't. Yeah, yeah.
this is a situation where there's something very productive happening. People can be educated to a greater extent. So this is a good space for anyone to be in, right? To get themselves involved and to critically think. So like even if someone is not acting
But
perfectly within the space, that doesn't necessarily mean that this space isn't productive or better for them
I
or
think
for
there's a lot
everyone
of
in the room.
people here. I mean, that might have a lot of knowledge, but they lack wisdom. I think that's, I might not be super political, but I think I have a good
I think
sense
it's
of.
kind of diabolical for you to sit at the position you have right now with the I mean like you haven't been able to explain a lot of your views and then to say that about other people. It seems like almost you need to investigate that with yourself
I didn't
before
vote
you
for
start
Trump, but I mean,
spending that
if
with other people.
answering
You
your
said you would.
question over Kamala,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what the election was.
yeah. So, and I've never voted, and I'm going to start. Going to start voting. I mean, if there's a person, I like Andrew Yang, man. That's the person I really liked out of everybody that's coming
Well,
since I've
if
been
you like
18.
Andrew Yang,
Andrew
who
Yang
did
was the
Andrew
best
Yang
person.
prefer? He definitely preferred Kamala Harris. And by the way, I just want to clarify it too. Andrew Yang was one of the reasons I changed my mind back in like what was it, like 2020, 2019. I went from being a Republican to liking Andrew Yang. UBI was what originally convinced me. I liked the fact that he was talking about automation.
And he was way ahead of his time. I mean, now we're seeing it in real time with AI, the rise of AI and
Yeah, I
these
also like in
big
terms
language
of
models.
UBI, like there's a lot of critiques of UBI, but like I think that providing services will probably lead to better outcomes necessarily than just giving everyone $1,000 check. It just gives more power to capitalists essentially to raise prices because of increased demand without necessarily increasing quality of services.
Yeah.
It could help though for a lot of
No.
people. Like I wouldn't disagree with that. But I also know it's like a rehaul of our current system right now.
Okay. So this is this just came to mind, right? But all this shit that
You can
happened with
ask
the
your last
government
thing and then
shutdown.
I'm gonna get off here real quick.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You want me to ask my
I
last
said
thing?
you could ask your last thing and I
Oh,
can
okay.
get going.
Uh, I mean, in regards to the government shutdown, right? And a lot of people losing their food stamps for a month or 2 months, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I guess that's something I can say is I would give a point to Trump over Kamala. I think Kamala would. I think people that are in dire need, yeah. I mean, have at it, man. That's what You know, that's what we're here for, to help one another. I mean, through our tax dollars, right? Um, but then you do have a large sum of people. I don't know what the percentage is, but I see it, man. I've seen it because I've grown up in the hood, bro. I've literally grown up in the hood where I see people kind of just um, living off of welfare and not doing anything about it. You know, people that I love, people I've loved and I grew up with, rub shoulders with, and you know, um, but
So what we want
Trump
to
got
do
that.
is we want to invest in conditions for greater social mobility and provide a baseline for everyone. So like I would prefer that people
Do
have a
we?
baseline and everyone's taken care of. And I think that through that we can create community and create a society where people want to involve themselves more with our system. And you can also maintain the incentives to work. Right? Like the current systems right now, I think do in most instances, but sure there could be some instances where that's not true. But I mean, you just fix that with tax brackets and with income distribution, essentially for how much you get to still incentivize people to work.
I mean, that's a good solution. I mean, but what do you do in in the meantime? You let people abuse the system? That's
I
okay with you?
To be honest with
You
you,
don't
I
really
think that's
care?
very. I think comparative to the rest of the spending, it's not that much of a big deal. But like, of course, you can address fraud, like in situations of fraud. But like, if someone's just like getting basic necessities, do I really care about that comparative to like the massive trillions of dollars that millionaires and billionaires are getting?
I think you could. I think you can look at both. You don't have to just pick one and say, "Well, I'm gonna let you go though, bro. I know you're tired. You know, I appreciate you. I don't. I don't. I hate to end on this type of question, but you know, I appreciate your time. You know, I like what you're doing, and you know, all the best to you in your journey."
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you so much for going.
Yep.
Alrighty, everyone. I am going to get off for tonight. I would really appreciate if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up for the 2,200 people here. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. We're almost to 1,000 real quick. Maybe we can hit 1,000 before I get off here for tonight. About to get off here right now. Thank you, everyone, so much. Jeremy, thank you so much for the $5, by the way. Thank you so much. As well as Katie, thank you so much for the $25. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Katie. Thank you. And I think I said thank you to Mark as well earlier. Thank you so much again, Mark. I really appreciate it. W's for Mark in the comment section. I'm fully caught up, though. Other than Doug, thank you so much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you. True and Relic, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Alrighty. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see everyone tomorrow, probably around 5 or 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'll let everyone know. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see everyone later. Peace out, everyone. I'd recommend to go check out my YouTube. I'm going to be posting a bunch of videos tomorrow. Probably some of the in-person stuff where I debated people by tomorrow. So I'll see y'all then. Love y'all. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.